Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
Yes, sir. This is B. Brian Blair asking you to turn into the Can Crushers podcast, or you're going to get stung.
And welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am the host, Mark the Mark Martinez. This is the person that didn't write anything down, the person that didn't send me a headshot, the person that didn't do anything, my co-host, Sir Michael Jenks. That's your best introduction for the day.
Hey, yo. It happens. It's been a long week, all right? I think it's been a long week for both of us.
Yeah.
We're on our fourth Thursday or fourth Monday of the week, so it's a shit show.
It really has been. Like, I know I've given away a lot about work before, but holy Christ, Ridgeway. Like, it wasn't fall cleanup in November or whatever. Like, we had massive amounts of garbage this week, and I don't understand why. And I'm a broke dick dog. I'm down. There's one more day of work, but I'm sore. My shoulder feels like I'm fucking Noah Syndergaard right after surgery.
You know what I just thought of for your work situation? People were probably throwing out their pumpkins over the past week.
Those stalks.
You're going to hate me for this. Yeah.
We don't have a compost place that they could take all that.
Maybe they don't know about it. I don't know. I was that guy this week, unfortunately. I put my pumpkins in the trash, and there was a shit ton of them. Obviously, you guys saw. I tried to make the bags with as little weight as possible.
It's a pumpkin!
Those two big ones are 20 pounds apiece. They're fucking huge.
I know.
Yeah, I know. So I was trying to make them as light. Well, I guess my standard of light is different from other people's standards of light, but whatever. I did that. So, yeah. I mean, I'm one of those assholes that put out pumpkins for the garbage bin. I should have put out water or something for them, but, I didn't.
Yeah. It's been a week, and, we're recording Thursday night, so happy Veterans Day to everybody yesterday.
Vets Day, as I get confused on the dates like I usually do, now even more. But
just enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to rain and be miserable down here, so there's a lot of... No, there's not. Here it goes.
Okay.
Christmas season is a month and a half away.
'Tis the season. Mariah Carey's already knocking at the door.
So you know what that means for Mark. I've already been questioned 2 weeks ago at the Halloween, or 3 weeks ago, essentially, at the Halloween party. We didn't come and get the Christmas stuff down out of the garage. And well, we're going to the Pitt Syracuse game. I don't know, but we want it up by Thanksgiving. I will get somebody else. I would never say that. So it's time this Saturday. After the Pitt game, though, Pitt plays at noon. He's like, what time you guys gonna come up? 1 o'clock or so? I'm like, no. Not happening. Completely fully invested. More to come on that. In Pitt. So I'm like, no, we'll be up after the Pitt game. What time's that? I'm like, well, it's a 12 o'clock game, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I said, we'll bring some pizza, a couple, a 30 rack of something. I bring Miller Lite up to him. He's going to be happy because he drinks either Hams or Lucky Streak or,
It's
horrible.
Fucking Hams. Let's go, Hams.
So I bring a Miller Lite up. He's like, "Oh, you brought the high test stuff. This is what I drink when I want to get drunk quick, Dad. I don't enjoy beer. This is just what I want to drink, and I'm not drinking your Hams." So it's time to go get the 8 Christmas trees, the 75 fucking reindeer, Santa Claus, and all of that Saturday after Pitt. That was me knocking on wood. Defeats Virginia and becomes bowl eligible. And then I'll be happy. I'll do it twice. If they win Saturday, I'll do it twice. God forbid if Pitt loses Saturday. I don't know. I'm gonna shoot myself with something. I don't know, to make me sick.
Ornaments, just throw them at your head.
Start
Something
Tommy
like that.
Dreamer and then
just fucking nail them.
So besides that, and I'll let you give more about your week.
You go for it.
And what's coming up, because we're recording early and there's stuff Jenks is doing.
Yeah.
We put the deposit down on the season tickets.
Very nice.
Last weekend when we were in when we were in Pittsburgh. And then Tuesday they announced that their final home game on the 19th against Duke is at noon.
Oh, are you serious?
What else is going on the 19th at 8 o'clock? Essentially 7 with the buy-in.
Well, I feel like you got to go full gear. And that, man, well, at least it's a noon game.
And we're going to do it. Tickets are already bought because as soon as I made my deposit, Pitt sends something over. Oh my God, thank you for doing this. Only one game left, so let me give you discounted pricing for the last game of the year. It's the section that we love. It's the row that we want. And they were really cheap, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus because I'm an alum and I'm not going to even tell you the pricing, but we had to.
Yeah.
The wife was like, "Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me." Like, she is, I've never seen her before all in on anything sports. She's like, "It's a noon game. What do you have going on?" I said, "Well, there's a pay-per-view at 7 o'clock. I said, "It's a pretty big pay-per-view." I said, "We're going to make our predictions for Full Gear next week." So, that's a spoiler for that. But I'm like, we could do it. By the time it's over 3:30,
yeah,
we're not eating on the way home. Listen, if you have to piss, here's a bottle. We can make it.
Yeah, that's doable.
So we pulled the trigger. We got the tickets. We're going to see Pitt against Duke on the 19th. God forbid there's snow, because there's snow in the forecast for next week down here. But God forbid. Listen, as long as I make it back by 8. And unless we get frozen tundra, it's okayable. It's doable. No, okayable. What the hell am I talking? I'm drinking water tonight because I work tomorrow.
Maybe that's why. Maybe now. Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe I need to. By the way, those Coronas, I know I slurred a little bit last week on this. Dude, I didn't edit until the next morning. I went right to bed. I was crushed after I hit stop recording. Boom. Kelly came home. She's like, "Holy Christ, how much did you drink?" I'm like, "I had 3 beers." I said, "Yeah, with Di-Seronas in it." She's like, she doesn't know what Di-Serona is. She's just getting up on the liquor and everything. She took a little bit across her lips. She's like, "Oh, this tastes really good." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 25% alcohol, by the way." I don't think I mix it with a beer. Go to bed. I did. So all of that. Yeah, I'm going to the last game.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully they're bowl eligible by then. They'll be.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything. Yeah.
Duke's gonna be a tough game.
Oh yeah. Well, that's awesome.
And you got a lot going on too.
Oh, I got a shitstorm going on. Things blowing up, getting deleted, destroyed at work, left and right. Things going down the toilet. But Hey, I didn't do any of it. I'm just riding along, passenger seat, watching the show. I'm like that. Yeah, delete. I'm like, if you've ever seen the meme where the dog's in the middle of the fire and going, "This is fine." That's just me right now. I'm just saying this is fine, and I'm just watching the world burn around me. Probably because
you remember Bray Wyatt's clan then.
I am. You know, who killed the world? You guys did. That's all I'm saying. I'm just sitting here watching it burn. But reason I'm watching it burn, you can't bring me down this week. My game came out Wednesday night at midnight. God of War, Ragnarok, guys. I'm
thinking about getting that, by the way. I've heard so much about it.
It's a great game. I've got a couple hours invested in it. It's a long ass campaign, from what I'm hearing. Do all the quests, everything in the main mission, 60 hours in total. If you do just the main mission, some of the quests, about 20 to 30. So I'll fall in that range probably when I do this, so I can have a little bit extra to play around with afterwards and all that. So, Mike, let me talk.
This is the Mark twist of the story.
Actually, I should start with this bullshit because this is how stupid I am. Tuesday, I'm invested. There's a countdown clock on it. I'm timing it. I'm like, okay, I got it added up. I said, it comes out Tuesday, November 8th, because that's the date they were advertising in that, at least from what I saw. So I'm like, I'm going to wake up early and fucking play this thing. I woke up at 4 a.m.
Prior to work.
Woke up at 4 a.m., turned the fucking PlayStation on. It's telling me I have 19 and a half more hours to play it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I go look it up online. Apparently they did this cute thing where it was coming out the night of November 8th. So essentially midnight of November 9th. And it corresponded with the blood moon that was in the sky. So everything lined up. So it made sense. But I'm like, you motherfuckers. So I played Madden for 20 minutes and I'm like, this is bullshit. So I went and I think I just went and just TikToked for another hour before I had to get ready for work. But did it again on Wednesday. I'm like, I'm getting up at 4. I'm fucking doing this. Got up at 4. Turned it on. It's fucking there. It's beautiful. I played from 4 a.m. to 6:15. Got ready for work. Went to work. I did this knowing I don't have much free time to play this game this week. So I had to make it happen. So yesterday, I was doing something with my mom and my family. So I couldn't do anything last night and it ran right into AEW. So as soon as I got home, boom, AEW Dynamite's on. I was watching that. 10 o'clock, my ass is tired. I'm about to fall asleep at watching AEW, so I go right to bed. This morning, I had to get on to work early because I was getting tires on the truck today. I had to drop it off, so I was going to miss some time at work, so I had to do work this morning. Got about an hour done and worth of work, and I'm like, I'm playing for an hour. I'm good. So then I played for an hour. Got the tires on the truck, had to traverse uphill, downhill, whatever.
That's just a teaser, though. That's the worst.
It is the worst. I didn't get into anything too major right now, so I'm good with it. I'm just going on a quest. I'm trying to find this one guy right now. So we're just trucking through this world, this realm. But tonight, we were recording, obviously. Guys, we're recording Thursday night. We've said it multiple times. Mark has. We're recording Thursday night, so I'm doing this, and then I'm jumping back on after this. Because on Friday, when we would have recorded, I have work all day. I'm picking up my niece she has a half day at school. She's going to be here until 3:30. Then I'm going to Meadville because I'm going to Grove City on Saturday to walk around and shop with the family and the girlfriend.
That's 8 hours.
That is 8 hours easily. So by the time I get back Saturday, it'll probably be maybe 5 or 6 at night. Who knows? And I'm probably just going to be dead tired because I've been walking all day. I don't think I'm staying in Meadville that night. I'm probably going to check back. I'm going to try to come home because I want to try to play this. If it's not Saturday, it might be
all day Sunday.
And Sunday. Yeah, I have a couple things coming up on Sunday, but outside of that, it's probably just going to be that. I'm going to say screw football and just play my game because that's all I want to do. Sit down for 8 hours straight and play this game.
Yeah, because both of our teams are horse shit this year. So why you?
I'm watching right now for fantasy football value because I'm in
my team went to shit on all leagues.
Well, I'm in a guillotine league. I'm in the top 5 right now. I'm trying to make it to the top 4 because I think that's the final week. Whoever the top 2 is out of next week's clan wins it. So it's like I'm trying to get there. I'm just outside it. Barely won this past week. Like I was sweating bullets Monday night, but it was a close call indeed. But so my week has just been jam packed with the shit. I'm trying to play this game as much as possible.
We're both grown adults
We are.
with child minds.
Yes.
Can I ask,
Sure.
like, why didn't you build in a day of vacation for this? Like, I've said this for probably a year now. Next July, there's a minimum of 2 days being taken off for NCAA football.
Yeah.
Like, are you more of an adult than I am? Like, I will take a vacation day for a video game.
It sucks for me to say this, but I am a sucker for work a little bit. So I will go in. Do it. It's not. I know. I go in. I like going in. I like figuring stuff out. So I will do that more often than not. But I've traced it back to me and my coworker this week had this conversation because we both came from a certain other company before we made it to my current company. At that old company, if you weren't doing something, you were looked down upon, and it seemed like you were going to get fired every minute. Like, that's how stressful that culture was. So it built in and ingrained that you had to just keep going, keep finding stuff, keep doing this, doing that. I get to my new company, and they're like, listen, none of this is a medical emergency. You don't have to worry about it. Just get it done when you get it done. Take your time. Make it work. It slowed it down, and it's a less toxic environment. But it's hard to kick that old habit. And when I grow up with my father, who I love, yelling at 8 a.m., you're burning daylight, get your ass up, you get up and you get to start doing stuff. So it's like, it's just that ingrained mentality of you have to do more, you have to do more. Now I'm getting flack from the girlfriend in that she's like, you can just sit down for like 5 hours and be fine. Nobody's going to judge you.
I love Kimberly. I love her.
She has made me relax, take a chill pill. So every time I go to Meadville, it's chill day. We're not doing anything. We're just hanging out, watching TV, it's been mostly Christmas movies right now, watching Hallmark Christmas movies, playing Hallmark Christmas bingo, which actually makes it a little bit more fun to watch these shitty ass movies. But we're having a good time.
She doesn't listen
relaxing.
To this one, by the way.
Huh?
She doesn't listen to the wrestling podcast.
No, she does not. No. Although I did say this has got to be the shittiest plot in the last one we watched, and she laughs, so she agrees. But it's one of those things that's just been ingrained in my mind. Now I do have vacation days taken throughout the year.
Thing, like PTO. Like you're not being a burden on. You're not calling off. Hey man, I'm sick.
Yeah.
God of War is going crazy in the background.
Yeah. Like I'll plan this out. Like I take certain weekends off. I try to do more. Like Thanksgiving, I'm taking the Friday after off, so I can have a 4-day weekend. Plus that's my anniversary weekend. 1 year with her, so we can do that. I'm taking a week and a half off at the end of December for Christmas time. That's my big vacation for the year. Is I just take that like the last week and a half off and just go away. So if I'm not done with God of War, it's definitely getting done that weekend because I'm going to be a recluse and I'm just going to be probably stinky and just drunk all the time. But except when I have to travel for the family Christmas stuff, I'll be presentable at that point.
Right.
On top of that, I'm doing another families function at my house in December, so we're gearing up for that too. So she was so excited about the pumpkin one that she goes, "Can we do an ugly Christmas sweater one?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I go, and I being a smartass, I go, "It's at your place, right?" And she goes, "No." I'm like, "All right." So we're gonna do one with both families, and everybody has to wear an ugly Christmas sweater. So
you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
I have a ton of them. I have a T-shirt that says "Crushing It" and has 2 nutcrackers on it, so that's in the running. I also told her she has like an elf costume. I said I'd match her with my Santa T-shirt and that if we wanted to go that route. So we might have a matching costume going on. But
you're cute.
I also have a Believe in It sweatshirt that has Bigfoot on it, which I think is my prized possession. That's my prized possession. Yeah.
That's the one you should wear. That's the one you should wear. Yeah, it's all cool. I'm just saying that's cool. I love that you do that. we kind of do the same. I mean, it's just like her mom's with everybody. We go to my dad's, and then my aunt is pseudo like my mom now. So we got 3. And holidays are, holidays are just insane. So you have to bounce everywhere. Thank God that everybody goes through us. I don't know if we're the planning committee, but they want to make sure that we're there, and it's like a whole day.
Yeah.
So essentially, my aunt starts it when you're doing something at your dad's. Okay. And then Kelly will then, because she knows that we're going there and there, she then tells her mom, we're doing this. Like, her mom usually gets the meat and potato days. Like, Thanksgiving and Christmas are definitely at her mom's, because they always have been.
Yeah.
Plus, like, my dad's got my stepmom's family too. They don't do shit or shinola on the real days, because everybody's just everywhere. So it's just them two at home. They understand. They do their own thing. Where, all right, the 26th, you guys come up, and the 27th, they'll come up, and my aunt with my uncle working just whenever the hell he wants to, like, Thanksgiving's next weekend for, boom. And like, all right, whatever, it's cool. We'll do it on Sunday, on the 13th or whatever. It's all fine and dandy. It's cool. It's fun. It's cool, stuff like that. But actually, the 13th is this Sunday. So
it's Sunday. So you were getting there. I got you.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening, it's tomorrow. So yes. So that's what I'm going to do Sunday. Son of a bitch. Sunday. Thanksgiving. Nonetheless, it's you do it. Because one, it is, I'll always say this about Cal. Cal has I have an awesome tattoo sleeve, but she beat me to it. She's got, in Korean, because that's where her dad fought, family is everything. It's one of her, and we believe that wholeheartedly. It is. Yeah. It's all you really, really have in life. Yep. By the way, transition, not meant to be, but I just remembered, November is Mental Health Month for men. Guys, you know how much big advocates, I'm just throwing this on Jenks, and I'm spitballing it right now. You know how much advocates we are on mental health. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take a moment. Reach out. We have said that our email is open. Reach out to us. I know some of you guys have my phone number. Text me. Do whatever. I'm going to say it as nicely as I can, but it's going to sound heartless. I'd rather talk to you for 3 hours at 3 o'clock in the morning than listen to your, eulogy. Yeah. Listen, we're here. So we love each and every one of you. Just because it's Men's Mental Health Month, if a woman reaches out to us, we'll be there too. It's just, It shouldn't just be a month. It should be every day of the year, 365. So that's my spiel on that. You're loved. Both of us have been down that path. Yeah. I'm on it half the time. So just reach out. We love you.
I mean, let's go off that point. Everybody's loved. Everybody's loved whenever. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't feel like you're a burden. Don't feel like you're not worth having a conversation about. I'll tell you, this past summer, and I didn't tell many people, but some people could tell in my attitude, I was down in the dumps. I was shit. I was negative mindset most of the summer. And it didn't really turn around until last month. I don't know what changed last month. I kind of attribute it to my class that I was taking through work for leadership in that, because there's great points about stress and de-stressing yourself and just recognizing how to build yourself back up and understand how you're just being self-reflective, really. And it wasn't, I don't think it was supposed to be that enlightening, but it was to me. So that was the greatness about that. And my mind says kind of changed out of that. So, but it doesn't hurt to reach out to people. It will not hurt anybody. Anybody that is willing to listen to you loves you dearly. And they know they love you dearly, and they are willing to listen to you and talk to you and hear you out fully. I always encourage my niece to reach out to me, because she's getting to that age. You can tell when she's down in the dumps and when things are affecting her, but she might not feel like she has that communication age. I say, listen, if you want to talk, just talk. She did the one day, and she was really depressed in the dirt about us not being able to hang out as much as we used to in the past. So we dedicated one night a week to doing that because it helps her mental health, and really it helps mine because I missed her a lot. We weren't hanging out as much. If you know our relationship, we're basically a father-daughter type relationship in the aspect of her dad's not in the picture, has never been, and I've just been there trying to be that fatherly figure for her. But at the end of the day, your life means so much to not only you, but to people that love you and care about you and want to be there for you and want to help you. So remember that whenever you're feeling down, if you feel like you've got nobody in the world, I'm betting there's one person in that phone you could call and they would say, give me 10 minutes to get a 6-pack and I'll be over and talk to you. Or just give me 10 minutes and I'll be there. Or just talk to me on the phone. Talk me through where you're at. Don't shy away from the people that love you in your life, because those are the people that'll keep you going. And we talked about family being very important. I completely agree with that, but I also subscribe to the sentiment. Family is those that actually care deeply and love you. If you grow up in a household that doesn't love you or doesn't treat you right or does not respect you, you can leave that toxicity behind and find people and find a community and family that will love you, because they're out there. You will have a group of friends that'll be your family for you. So you have a family. It doesn't have to be the conventional sense of the word. So be willing to reach out. Don't feel pride. That's not the time to feel it, because at the end of the day, you'll be down in the dumps and you'll just be in such a negative headspace that you can spiral very quickly if you're not careful.
Yeah. And this take, and Jenks, I'm going to roll back to video game. If you're just blah and your thing is to release, is to play Madden, God of War, NCAA football when it comes out next July, AEW when it comes out in December. If that's your thing to clear your mind and you're just zoned in on that, it's okay. It really is. Yep. Then, trust me, because that's mine. It really is. If Kelly sees me, and I don't play it as often anymore, but Kelly, if she sees me hunting, she'll come in from work. She's like, why are you hunting? What's wrong? What's going on? There's keys. And I didn't know it for the longest time, that this hunting game was my walking in the woods, because I'm not fucking going in the middle of the woods. But this is me going in the woods, clearing my mind. I put my headset on and I'm just walking. Oh, there's 16 deer. I'm not shooting any of them. I'm just out there. So those are all like my triggers that I didn't know that I had, that they caught on to. So if I'm hunting, they're like, what's wrong? What's going on? I just put up a signal. People will understand. They'll learn. They'll love. And I like how you brought it around. If your neighbor's your family, with the air quotes, your neighbor's your family, it's okay. Knock on the door. We love you.
Yeah, exactly. And hell, video games, music sometimes is released. It's for me. Anyway. I will sit here and sing at the top of my lungs Foo Fighters horribly and probably drive my neighbors nuts, but it's a release because it's something to get me out of where I was and to just let it all out in verbal diarrhea. I probably won't have a voice when I'm 65. I'll sound like I've been smoking for 90 years and have a tube in my throat. But hey, I'd rather sing at the top of my lungs and get it out and just express that rage than do something very self-destructive on myself or to somebody else. I think that's the key, is find your outlet, find what can help you release some of that negativity and that tension and that anger or just that negative headspace. Just find something that'll give you that release and give you something and let you be like an hour later, all right, dude, let's go. Let's chill out. I'm good. I'm good now. And sometimes that's all it needs.
My mom's, and we'll move on then. My mom's was color by number up until like the day she got sick and everything. She, if she was having a bad day and you would just see her grinding the pencils in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Right. Color by number. She's good to go. At least she had a release. So it can be something it's not even minuscule. Nothing is minuscule when we're talking about this. Coloring or drawing or whatever. Do it because we want you here. We want you in this realm of God of War that I don't know anything about yet.
You'll
All
get
right.
there.
Well, I'll get there. I'm talking myself into it that I'm going to buy it as soon as we're done recording. And Kelly's like, "Are you fucking done? We just bought season tickets. We just did this. We just slow your roll. You're going to replicate in 2 weeks."
Well, you know what? Hey, buy the older version. It's probably on sale now.
Then I can't talk to you and my buddy about it.
Oh, I'll talk to you about the older version all day long. Just text me. That version is fantastic. You'll love it. There's a father-son element to it. You'll love it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Speaking of father-son, then we'll get to wrestling for real. Ethan leaves tomorrow morning, Friday, not yesterday or whenever the hell you guys are listening to this. Leaves and goes on his first big trip by himself in all of this. And listen, I know I'm the fucking helicopter parent. Kelly's like, he's gonna be fine. No, he's going to DC on a school trip.
Oh,
to do
man.
this, to do that. And I'm like, do you have this? Do you have he had to send everything to school to make sure he's not fucking embezzling drugs to DC and have a 9mm with him or anything. So we had to take all that up yesterday. They're going through his bags, this, that, cool, fine and dandy. Who are you rooming with? I don't know yet. We find out when we get there. What hotel? He knows, but he's just playing with me. He's going to be fine. I'm like, are you gonna send us pictures when you're there? Are you gonna be able to do this? Are you gonna be able to tell me? He's like, we're in debates, we're in classes and everything. I'm like, take a picture of your teacher. Don't do that, Ethan. Don't. This is just he's going to DC. This is my little baby boy who is 16 and is a hooligan. I'm my mom's son. I will never. And I know that people are like, no shit, you're your mom's son. But I got that whole worrywart thing that I'm like, Kelly's like, he's gonna be fine. There's 900 chaperones, and the fucking FBI are walking these kids in and out of places. And
let me tell you this, because I am probably the prime example of a parent's worst fear. I had a DC trip.
You are the parent's worst
I know. Just look at me. Oh, you guys can't because I didn't put a picture to Mark yet to get it on the website. But I went to DC when I was 16. It was sophomore year, so I was 15, 16. I went. It was great. But what you need to know about me is I'm a big guy. But back when I was that age, I wasn't doing anything at the gym or anything to kind of build up my muscles so I could support my weight. So I get to DC. We're walking. We're doing the Smithsonian. We're doing the Holocaust. We're doing all these museums and shit. We're walking for 3 days straight. By the end of the third day, when we're about to get on the bus to come home, I can barely walk. My ankles are shot. Now, I have arthritis in my ankles. This is like a diagnosis I got when I was 18. I have arthritis in my ankles because of the size I had. I get home. I can barely move. My mom is losing her shit because she is the exact same as you, Mark. She was worried about everything going on, and I can barely walk, and I couldn't walk right for a week. She is losing her mind. So I was the epitome of the worst nightmare coming back to her. So what I'm saying is Ethan can definitely walk all the sites better than I could at that time, but he'll be all right. He's not like me. He's a lot better than me probably at that age. He's got this, but I was the worst thing for my mother back then. But he'll be great. I'm sure he's going to love it. They're doing debates down there.
It's get ready because people can roast me. It's for DECA and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
That is, but
yeah,
he's in it.
Fair enough. Well,
I bought 10 million pizzas, a ton of honey baked rolls, and this and that. We sold subs to everybody in Ridgeway so he could go.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't, it was like $500 for him to go. I'm like, how the hell are we paying for this? I'm going to WrestleCade next week.
Mine was like $380, $400, something like that when I went.
Difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Inflation.
I mean, at least it was only $100. I would have thought it would have been like $1,000 by this point because of inflation, but thank God it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a spring one. I don't know. Maybe they're going to like Guam in the spring. I don't know. We'll start selling stuff next week for DECA here on Can Crushers. Make sure you order them. I'll ship them to you in freezer pack ice.
Going to America Samoa. Gonna just find the next Roman Reigns out in Samoa and just bring the islands back, man.
We're going to get there. But let's talk about some hot topics first, because holy moly. right off the bat, I told you guys I do want to talk about a little bit of NWA. And it's actually been a lot of NWA.
I was going to say, your NWA talk last week was, I think, around hard times, and now shit's hitting the fan in NWA.
Yeah. I mean, I do have some matches that, I want to talk about. There's preference all of this. 14 matches for $24.99 on Fight. It starts at 8 o'clock Saturday night. So now my goal is watch the Pit game, get the Christmas crap, and be home by 8 o'clock Saturday night to watch this. Junior title, tag title, the new U.S. title, the TV title, MLW, open weight title, the national title, of course the heavyweight title, the women's title. There's a mask versus mask. There's a Voodoo Queen casket match. And I'm going to bring all these up, but we have to talk about Corrigan and Nick Aldis / Mickey James and then Taryn Terrell.
Yeah.
All of this is kind of, I think, mixed together. And I'm like, holy moly. So Jenks, it starts earlier this week. Aldis comes out and says, listen, I'm leaving NWA. January, I'm a free agent. Peace out. Because him and Corrigan have just been clashing.
Yeah.
And we're summarizing all of this. Corrigan says this has been going on for the 5-6 years anyway. You didn't need to put it out in the open. All this is saying, well, you took some of the credit for everything Mickey did on the Empower pay-per-view. You're not letting him do another one. Da-da-da-da-da. So then Corrigan says, well, you're uninvited. First, he uninvited him to Hard Times 3. More went back and forth, and he's like, fuck it. You're now suspended until your contract is done.
Yeah.
I think that hurts NWA. I mean, I don't know. I don't recall what match he was definitely not going to be in a title match. But Jenks, now I'm going to stir the pot. Does all this show up and we're just getting worked? There is bad blood out there.
There is bad blood. I mean, maybe they worked it out in the behind the scenes in the 10 hours. Who knows? Yeah, maybe they worked it out, but I don't think it is. I'm looking at the card now. I think it was I'm guessing it was against Odinson because that's the only spot with a TVA on it right now, according to Wikipedia. So I think that might be the match that he was part of. I don't think this is a work. I think because it seems like there's so much bad blood, and all this has been one to stand up for Mickey before. We've seen that time and time again, so this is not something new. And as you should, you stand up for your wife, and really around that Empower pay-per-view, because I think I saw that was thrown out there too. Somebody at one point, I think Corrigan said it didn't make any money or he lost money on it or something like that. I saw that pop up too. So I think at this point, the bad blood has just turned completely spoiled. It's not, they hate each other's guts and they just want to be done with this. I think now the focus is all this time is out, is done at NWA. Where does he end up at that point going forward? I'm in alignment with you. He was one of your bigger stars in the company. He was a selling power for your company. Who are you going to put it on? I mean, I get Trevor, Matt Cardona, but Aldis was selling a lot of people and bringing a lot of people in the product. And when he joined, 5-6 years ago, he brought a lot of people with him and brought the fan base back up. And you could argue it had a renaissance because of Nick Aldis in NWA.
2019, when I went to the Crockett Cup that they brought back that Crockett Cup that year and went down to North Carolina to watch that, I voted that Aldis and Marty Scurll match of the year for the Crushies. It was unbelievable. And there was a ton of matches. Was it 2019? Yes. Right? Yeah. So. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I putting if Mom was still alive. So, yes. It was prior to me going to the first ever WrestleCade. Yes. So that was like match of the year for me. It was unbelievable. I've always been an Aldis Magnus fan. I've loved, he's just got that stature. And I've always loved him. I have. So let's play this game. Mickey's retiring. once she loses her next thing in TNA. Does he go back there? I don't think there's love in TNA for him. I think we see, I would be remiss to say his career's not over.
Yeah.
I think Aldis could do some stuff in AEW.
I agree. I mean, you think of the TNA talent that's there that he ties back to. There's a lot of friends in that organization. And what would you say, January his contract's up?
Yep.
Oh, Revolution would be a lovely pay-per-view just to show up on, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Or do a mystery opponent for, or build up something for it. So I don't think this would be the one free agent. I'm 100%, I'll say 99% sure he ends up in AEW just to wrestle. There's a slim 1% chance he goes up to the big show unless they're throwing money after money after money at him. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But
so it's kind of a bummer. And you've named some people, but I think there's a good shift though for NWA. Main event is Trevor, Cardona, and Tyrus. Tyrus just gave up the TV title to be in this match. I know Cardona has had it before. Trevor has had it before. I want to see, because the women's championship also has ties to this whole Cardona thing. Camille's had this women's title for a long time now. Nothing against Camille. I think she's great. Kylan King is kind of the upstart. You've seen her in AEW, you've seen her in NWA for a while. Chelsea is now throwing her name into this max. Why not in the NWA have the Cardonas running it? I know Matt has ran it there before, but Chelsea kind of wasn't there. She was doing more in TNA this time. Yes, because then you get, at least for Camille, there's a built-in story then that she can get it back, and Cardona can be that bastard. So
I would agree with that. I mean, that gives you a great storyline to kind of reset the foundation of the first couple of NWA at that point. So I think the opportunity's there, and they're probably making the move towards that. I mean, what else? Chelsea Green's not doing anything else. She's not with TNA anymore. There's talk she was going to go up to WWE at some point.
Nobody's called her yet.
Nobody's called her yet. She's got time. What's a couple months stint as the NWA champion, women's champion, just to get it off of Camille? Camille builds in that suspense of, you won in a triple threat, you didn't beat me, or a three-way match, you didn't beat me, yada, yada, yada. So the suspense is there, the elements are there to kind of make this work for her for a couple months and flip it back.
Chelsea returning after Mania would be fine. And this way she gets the title for a while, kind of builds her back up a little bit, because she's been up and down. I know she had the tag team titles with Peraza in TNA and everything, but this is, solo. We get the mask versus mask, and both question marks are fighting each other. Again, I've not been strong held on NWA for a while. I don't know if when question mark passed away last year, a year and a half ago, don't remember the exact day. I don't know if it was right to bring this back. So I don't know. Maxie Impaler against Natalia Markova, this Voodoo Queen casket match. Again, something to look forward to. And then there's, like I said, there's just a litany of other matches. New U.S. champions are going to be crowned, tag team champions. God, that title hasn't been around since the Midnight Express had it. Or maybe the Fantastics or somebody like that. Yeah. So it's $25 for the love of fuck. What else are you going to do on a Saturday night after Pitt secures a bowl game?
After you've been sitting and getting salty for 8 hours playing God of War or something like that. I'm watching NWA. Why not? I'm going to need to do something. I'm probably going to be too tired from walking in Grove City to not kick up my feet and watch NWA at that point.
Right. So we'll probably touch on it. We won't deep dive into everything, each match, but some of the strong points that come out. And if this is we really both don't think it's a work, but if it turns out to be, all this is going to be surrounded by Trevor, Cardona, and Tyrus in that main event match.
Yeah.
What else did you see that's news worthy for the week before we take a break and dive into Crown Jewel, which you won? I didn't say that loud.
Well, I got a couple things. They're not really hot. Well, not really hot topics, but let's talk about.
They're warm mooks. Okay.
Warm, lukewarm. But let's talk about Braun Strowman not being able to shut his mouth continuously. And I'm thinking this plays into what Jeff Jarrett said on AEW last night about fake pseudo monsters wearing red skinny jeans with the big banana nose federation or something like that.
Shots at Braun and Triple H.
Yeah. So why does he keep doing? Like, I know we could spend all day and say why are you doing this, dude? Just shut your mouth and live your best life. Like, what the hell? Like, you didn't need to take the shots. You didn't need to bother with it. You didn't need to do anything like that. Why must you insistently poke a bear? Like, what's the point of this?
He has now been. Are you talking about Jarrett or are you talking about Braun?
I'm talking about Braun. I'm going back to Braun because I think Jarrett's comments build off of what Braun did earlier in the week with his comments.
Right.
And some hatred with Triple H, but that's a different story. We can get onto that after that, too.
This is why Braun was pulled from, like, the Universal Championship run. And this is, you've heard backstage issues and da-da-da-da-da. And now I see maybe Tripp's got him back just to use him as a mid-card guy. Maybe it's like control the narrative, control deleted.
Yeah.
Nothing was going for you there. So he at least wants to say, I can give you a shot, but let's see how your attitude is. The attitude has not changed.
Shit.
Yeah. It may have gotten worse. As for Jeff Jarrett, holy fuck, he's disappearing everywhere. And I know we brought him up, but he's been on NWA. He did Flair's thing. Yeah. He's been at TNA this year. He was in the WWE at the beginning as a writer or something, right?
Yeah.
And then
he was doing creative stuff or something with WWE. I didn't realize he got released from that. I must have missed that or completely forgot about it, to be honest. But yeah, he's completely out of that now. Like,
where else does he need to go? Indies? Is he going to start rock? I mean, how long is he going to be on AEW?
Well, he took a backstage role, so I'm wondering if he's just on TV or.
Oh, we're getting a match.
Yeah, we're getting a match spoilers. We haven't watched Dynamite yet, but we should have. It's Saturday. So with Sting and Darby,
there's a lot of hate online about that. We'll get there when we get there.
Let's get there when we get there. But yeah, it just feels. You know what it feels like to me, Mark? It's turned into a pseudo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's turning into almost like a retirement tour, a goodbye tour for Jeff Jarrett. It just seems that way. He's popping up in different, like the Flair thing was, doing something for a friend.
I was fine with that.
I was fine with that too. But he was in WWE doing stuff. Now he's popping around different indies. He's doing this, and now he's in AEW facing Sting. I feel like this is just a career type wrap up thing before he just goes back into the sunset and just takes a backstage role and holds off.
It was announced that he is doing a podcast at WrestleCade as well, which is not part of your WrestleCade ticket. So if you want to go, it's an extra $25 to go to his podcast, or you can pay $75 and get a meet and greet with him. But sorry, I don't think I'm going to do either, because there's like two other things going on at the same time. It's either go to his podcast or I don't think it's like an event. I think it was something else, maybe like a panel talking about something that I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to that. Plus, it's in my package. Right. So, yeah. So, yeah, he's going to be doing a podcast down there, too.
Did they announce what the podcast is, or is it just
his podcast, My World?
So he's just doing an episode of his podcast at WrestleCade, basically.
It's probably a Q&A, because when Arn was doing his podcast, he did a Q&A down there as well.
That makes sense. So yeah, I don't think I would pay $25 to go sit there and ask Jeff Jarrett questions.
No.
I've
always liked him, but I can email him the question.
Exactly. He's never been like that one guy I want to be there and ask him the question, and that he's just never been that one guy for me. Right. So, but it just smells like a retirement tour for him. I don't know. That's kind of the perception I'm taking from that.
What was the other one you had?
Well, this is not a hot topic, but I just want to see if you saw this yet. And for fans that are listening on Saturday, how many do you watch or have you seen Masked Singer?
Yes.
Okay.
We used to live by Masked Singer.
So did I, until it started conflicting. When I started watching AEW more and more, I'm like, I can't watch both. There's a bride, dragon-looking son of a bitch.
It's Jericho.
It is definitely Chris Jericho. I don't know if you guys have seen this clip, but
did that bride thing not get voted out?
He was in the bottom 2, survived. So if you haven't seen it, I just wanted to bring this up, encouraging you to look this up online.
Hulu and on demand, however, go back and watch Masked Singer.
It's 100%, yeah. Or just find the clips on your social media feed, on Twitter, Instagram, whatever you got. I love watching it because I'm like, that's fucking Chris Jericho, 100%. And like, I gotta go in the comments because it's every iteration of Chris Jericho being named in the comments, and then somebody's going, it's 1,000 moves of Jericho, and somebody else yelled armbar, and I just love the comments because it's all wrestling people, and then you get that random person that doesn't know wrestling, and they're like, who is this guy? Is it Ozzy Osbourne? And I'm like, are you fucking me right now, guys? No. So.
We don't know. I don't know.
We don't know.
Does he re-sing next week? Because they've changed the whole realm of Masked Singer too. It started with just 8 people and it was on for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And now there's 900 singers and they sing every other random week.
Yeah, there's like group A, B, and C. I don't know when he's on next, to be honest, because I didn't know
he was on. Yeah.
I didn't even know it started again. My hope is that whenever he gets voted off, he's just singing Judas just to fuck with people at this point.
I hope so.
I would hope so too, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was probably that brought a smile to this face this week or this morning actually, because I saw it this morning of Chris Jericho just losing his mind. So that was my other hot topic. Did you have any more you wanted to talk about or go after?
No, right. We're good. So we're gonna say this: collar and elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and his hooligans have. Promo code Can Crushers, all one word. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. My dog is ripping my light down. You'll save 10%. We're everywhere. Podcasts are available. CanCrusher69@gmail.com is our email, which it's out there. Don't forget, you guys can submit questions to us via the phone number. It's on our socials. Go there. And our socials are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you give us a call. Normally by 4 or 5 o'clock on Fridays, we'll get your question on. We're always accepting questions. We'll plan another Ask Can Crushers probably for mid-December because there is nothing in December.
There's nothing going on.
And there's not going to be. I think it's just a lull across the board for all federations. December's like, it's break time. And it is break time. We'll be back.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, and my favorite podcast is Can Crushers. It should be yours too.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am Mark. That is Sir Jenks, the winner and #1 contender for a 6-pack after about a year and a half, Mr. Crown Jewel himself. What do you think?
Well, I'd like to thank the predictions. Thank Marks for punning on that match between Omos and Strowman, it warms my cold, dead heart.
It's funny that you just bitched about Strowman in episode 1, but he gets you the number 1 contendership.
He got me the number 1 contendership, barely, might I add, if we go by what happened in that match. But
well, yeah,
he got me it.
He did. He did.
So thank you, Red Skinny Jeans.
Yeah. So Jenks will get a title defense next week at Full Gear, and my God, the dogs are now going to wrestle. Good. Let's talk about Crown Jewel. We'll rip this down a little bit because I don't know. We definitely don't have to talk about SmackDown last week. It was recorded. I gave you all the results.
Yep.
And we'll talk about something on Raw, but holy shit, did Raw suck.
It wasn't great. It was terrible.
Horrible.
I have my highlights, and it's really one, and then whatever the fuck happened at the end. But we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
So we can spend a little bit of time on Crown Jewel. And then overall, Jenks, this was good action, predictable, not a Monday Night Raw, maybe elevated a little bit more than a Monday Night Raw, but not a worthy pay-per-view. Do you know where I'm going?
Yeah, I know where you're going. I think the only thing that it tried to make it a worthy pay-per-view might have been the drones that were flying overhead. But I agree with you. There was a lot of good action. Nothing that really stood out, went over the top, or you could say that was a pay-per-view match. That was a pay-per-view match. But it was elevated. It certainly wasn't a episodic TV show that they've been putting on. That's for sure. It was definitely a premium live event. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Premium live event, not a pay-per-view.
So,
Good point.
Yeah, so it's episodic TV shows, premium live events, pay-per-views. That's the scale now, guys.
Yeah. Just made today. If Lesnar's not in the main event, he's in the first match.
Yep.
I think Lesnar was back in the United States by the time this streaming live event was over.
He was certainly well on his way, probably at Bermuda by the time this thing ended.
Holy hell. I don't and with this match card, it was probably the right move to have them start. But I'm gonna lump all this. Every big man match was quick and weird for me.
Yeah.
So
this match kind of followed the similar formula that they put on in the past. We're hitting each other's finishers, we're hitting big moves, and then the way it ended was the weird part of this one. Surprising to say the least, because I would never expect that out of Lesnar. But I give it props that they were quick but weird, because that distinguished them from the first one or the previous one that occurred. That type of thing. But
yeah, and it then leads to essentially our prediction. We both had Brock.
Yep.
It leads to our prediction that there's going to be part 3.
Yes.
And I said a pit fight. It might only make sense now. We've seen him in cages. We've seen him this, that. I don't want that. I don't need a Hell in a Cell with these guys. Unless you're going to bring a scaffold match back, I think the pit fight is the best way to end this.
I completely agree. And let's not overshine the fact here. You called it. Bobby is now a heel because he's pissed off and running rampant all over Raw and after this match. So now Bobby's pissed. Bobby is a fucking lion, just unhinged right now, trying to attack people left and right. But to your point, I think the ends in the pit, and I think they both know it. And that's might be the ultimate pit match that they've actually had. Don't expect anything flashy off the top level of the pit. No. But this is going to be down, dirty, grisly fighting between these two guys in the middle of the ring.
Let it be. I almost say, let it be a shoot.
Yeah.
Just here. Whoever wins is really the winner of this. Go fight. I don't know if I could give a real fight to Lesnar right now over Bob, or I don't know if I could pick. I mean, just let him do it.
Yeah.
You want to sell tickets? Say it's going to be a pit fight at WrestleMania, and this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
They don't cross paths again until Rumble. I think we both said that too.
Yep. Rumble is when they cross paths again, and it's in the Rumble match. There's no way outside of that it's not. It has to be in the Rumble match.
Funny business of both eliminating each other somehow. They're tussling next to the ropes. They both go over. Neither one needs to be in a title hunt essentially across the board, especially where Bob, even in the U.S., like Bob doesn't need a title anymore either. He's elevated himself to that. Good. You're good. Just beat people up and be a mean, miserable bastard right now.
Yeah.
So in the realm of things, this match did work.
It did. It did work.
Next up, we have Damage Control against Bliss and Asuka. Why the hell were the heels in white? Okay. Yeah. I understand it's spy versus spy, the mad thing. The white spy is always supposed to be the good one. The faces were in black. I don't understand this. Essentially, this was, we need to give Saudi a title change once in a while. So Monday they lose the title, Saturday they win them back. I don't know. I
don't know why they did that. Let's be clear here. I don't fucking know why they did that. Just keep the titles on them. I guess they only did it to get the match back on Saudi or something like that. This was, to me, it was just run-of-the-mill type match that it had another interference where somebody got involved in it. And I hate to say that with the 4 people involved, but that's just the way it broke down to me. It was run-of-the-mill. It was what it was.
This was a Raw main event match.
It was a Raw main event match. I think the biggest thing I took out of this was what happened before the match, where the Firefly pops on the screen and distracts Alexa.
Yeah.
Now we have a tie back to Bray, and we have a tie back. What is going to happen with that? I think that was the only thing to take away from that match, besides Damage Control winning the tag titles, because I also think that with what happened later in the night, grand scheme of things, it didn't really do much to elevate or move the needle on them too much.
Not at all. I agree. Next matchup is Cross against Drew in a cage. This was the most disappointing match for me.
It served its purpose.
Barely to me.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised Drew won. I'm also surprised they went the cage side route with it. I personally would have booked this somehow to end in pinfall or submission inside the cage. I don't know how. They had pinfalls going, whatever. It just didn't make sense for them both to be trying to escape at the same time. It felt like it needed to be somebody's defining moment, and I guess this is me speaking from it needed to be Cross. It had to be a defining moment in that cage where either one person just strolled out or somehow they knocked the other person out to beat them. That's where my mindset went. And it just didn't happen. And I think that's kind of why it falls flat for me, is maybe I was expecting too much out of it. But I don't know where they go with it in the future.
I'd have to imagine that they're done.
Are they, or are they in War Games a part of some factions?
Oh, well, maybe, yeah. But
or is there something at Survivor Series that's going to happen? I don't think they're done here. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like a conclusion to a feud, because it's 1-to-1 now. There's no conclusion here. We're neck even.
You did a single. Well, they've both been specialty matches.
Yeah.
So is the blow off a normal match, or the only thing this match did to me, and I don't know why they would do this already, unless Cross is clearly going with Bray, are they separating Cross and Scarlett? That's because Cross was kind of a little jacked at her because she didn't do the key quick enough.
Yeah.
Which, for the love of Christ, it was meant to be like that. Can we stop using keys? They don't work half the time. And maybe it was supposed to be they both got out at the same time, or maybe indecisive something or other. But Drew's what, 280, 305? I don't know how, but literally I don't know how much he is. He can't be hanging himself off of the cage waiting to time this perfectly if they were supposed to go out at the same time to move on to that next match. You say, oh, we have to have a rubber match.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no way.
So to me, I'm like, are they getting rid of Cross and Scarlett together so Cross can trickle into this Bray group? Which I don't know.
I don't know either. I think to your point there, Mark, about Drew dangling there, I think the spot they did only works if it's two smaller competitors or if we don't expend enough energy. Because I think if I think back, let's go 80s, I think Hogan and Orndorff ended kind of similarly, but they were both on the cage climbing down. That's easier to control than a key in the door where we've historically known that, to your point, keys don't work. I mean, you look back at KO and Roman, that match, we were there 5 minutes waiting for the key to work. So it's that kind of thing where it's like, we can't take too many variables. If you're going to have big guys scale the cage, you have them do it on opposite sides to get out.
Timing.
Timing is key, and it needs to be between the two wrestlers, not the two wrestlers in an inanimate object, because 100% of the time that inanimate object is going to fuck up your plans.
And win.
And when it's going to steal a spotlight, it's shooting on you guys, and it shit on it. It kind of put a damper on the match.
Yeah. Judgment Day in OC. I don't know. This was a Monday Night Raw match for me as well.
It wasn't even a main event match. We knew Rhea was going to get involved. It was what it was.
Again, we're saying the action was good.
Action was good. It just didn't do anything to. What happened on Raw moved the needle more than what happened in this match. This match got us to Raw. Yeah. I feel like
that was it.
Yeah.
It was just, okay, step this for 2 days later.
Yep.
Omos and Braun. I didn't know this about MVP. Well, I may have remembered when somebody said it that he was Muslim at one time. If he would have went, here's essentially a death penalty if he would have went to Saudi.
I didn't even think of that.
So that's why no MVP at Crown Jewel with Moss. No Moss.
No Moss.
Moss.
No Moss. I was surprised they let him dominate majority of this match and then just have Braun win on a fluke power slam.
Yeah. One move.
One move, he did it. So that's what kind of took me. I think that's what caught me by surprise. To be honest, I was watching but not watching this match because I did not want to see this match whatsoever.
This was the only one that separated us, so you should have been invested in it.
I should have been invested more, but it's like I didn't want to see it. But then I'm watching it, I'm like, how is he? I got invested by the end because I'm sitting here like, Omos is dominating this match. It's not. I would have thought it would have been slapping meat, back and forth. Two big men slapping meat, back and forth affair. And we had some sort of. I was not expecting a heart clinic, which.
I don't know why I'm laughing about that, but yes.
I'm laughing because I'm trying to remember who made up the comment about Bret Hart not being a great wrestler earlier this week. From the wrestling standpoint, we should have brought it up in Hot Topics, but I can't remember who it was. But
shit.
But anyway, yeah. So anyway, outside of that, it wasn't a heart clinic. It wasn't a wrestling clinic. I was just surprised that it was Braun Strowman barely surviving with a weak ass power slam, to be honest. But it was Road Dogg.
Yeah, Road Dogg.
Road Dogg, who said Bret Hart wasn't a great wrestler, he was a better sports entertainer than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to talk about somebody off the rocker, let's talk about that. But
Yeah.
we digress.
The Usos against the Brutes. The winner takes on New Day on yesterday for you guys for the tag team championships. Once they said that, I didn't know this going in. We both had the Usos last week when we predicted it. That why watch it?
Yep.
Nothing against the Brutes. You guys know how much I love the Brutes. New Day Usos. Maybe Sammy isn't leaving the bloodline and mixing it up with KO, but they know that they have to start with the separation.
Yeah.
So you guys know before we do. Maybe we did whatever happened yesterday. Got new champs.
That's been playing in my mind. And then again, are we thinking about it too much? And it's the New Day's seceding to the bloodline. That phenomenal reign. That's the thing, though. The New Day presents such a threat. Here's the thing. We were talking about the New Day being stale 2 months ago. And now we're talking about them. They basically came out of nowhere and are now they're the stand between the Usos getting the record or not. And we're like, this is a fucking legitimate threat. This talks about the New Day is legitimate. It is what it is. They just didn't do anything with them for a couple months. And we were just sitting there like, well, this is fucking stale. What the hell are they doing with the Viking Raiders, right?
Right. Oh, are they still in WWE again?
I think so. Who the hell knows? Didn't they bring in Sarah Rowe at that point? Or bring back Sarah Logan or whatever the hell their name is? But whatever. We digress. I don't know, to be honest, what's going to happen. If Sammy costs them the match on Friday night, absolutely 100%, yes, completely agree. I just don't know where this fucking I'm going to be honest. I don't know if they're going to start the separation route or if they're not. But I do agree, if they're going to start pulling titles, they got to start. I think they start with the tag champs.
Oh,
because you have to start from the cracks, bring the cracks down, bring down the wall.
Because then Jay and Roman can bicker more.
Jay and Roman can bicker more. He can keep blaming Sammy. Sammy's only around for a couple weeks before he does something to Roman. And Roman then has to acknowledge that Sammy is the weak link here and they have to attack him or get him out of the bloodline. So, or it just turns into a Randy Orton situation where they kicked him out of Evolution, where he won the title and then they're celebrating and Roman just does the thumbs down, proverbial thumbs down, and then it's an ass kicking on Sammy.
Survivor Series used to be probably number 4 on the Big Four. It has lost. We've said this for years on this show that it has lost everything. Does Roman wrestle at Survivor Series? Okay, so that would give them their 4, have it be the Usos and Sammy just there. Or do we get that turn that it's the New Day with Sammy and KO against the Bloodline? And I don't know. I've been a bad wrestling podcast host. How's Big E? Is that return coming soon?
When the last update they gave, let me talk on the Big E perspective. Last update they gave, he said it was going slower. Recovery was going slower. Now, when you see him bouncing around College Game Day and that, he looked pretty good. But again, that's a whole different horse than actually being in the ring.
Right.
I think to that point, Mark, let's talk about the one fact that came up that I didn't realize was happening until they advertised it at Crown Jewel. 4 games is 5-on-5 instead of 4-on-4.
Right.
I think that, to me, that automatically elevates it's the bloodline in War Games, and Sammy's going to be the one. To me, it's Sammy's giving up on that one, taking the loss there, and then Roman's got to. That's when everything unfolds. So, to that point, where does it go? Where's the buildup? I think we start. I gotta think we're still seeing the cracks in that foundation this week. I think you brought up a good point. they just gave that to New Day, that record to New Day. Are they really going to flip it to the Usos to just establish the bloodline? I don't feel like they would.
That fast? No, because normally if you're still with the company, like Nikki Bella destroyed AJ Lee's.
Yeah.
Bad blood there. New Day destroyed Demolitions. There's bad blood there. There's no, I wouldn't think there's bad blood between New Day and the WWE. They are your PR tag team doing serials and this, that, and the other thing. Not that it hurts them. It would give an uptick to the bloodline that, okay, but whatever. They don't need that reign.
No.
That doesn't need to be on their resume.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I have to agree. I have to agree. This is when you start it, and then they take the loss.
Yeah.
I would think they have to take the loss. It's Survivor Series then, with nothing in December, house shows, this, that, and the other thing to build to Rumble. So let me throw this out. Who the hell is Roman going to face at Rumble? That's why you have all of December to build somebody.
Yeah,
He's going to defend it at Rumble.
Is it against Sammy? Is it against KO? KO's been MIA. I think KO had an issue or something. I can't remember, but KO's MIA. You know, there's elements out there that are MIA that could be the build up for Rumble. The Sammy thing's case in point. It could be a KO Roman match at Rumble, and he's defending Sammy's honor, or it could be Sammy coming back and coming after him, like a rejuvenated Sami Zayn that we saw back in NXT type days. Not going fully back to that character, but being that underdog of sorts.
Not Hitler or the Cuban guy.
Not the Cuban guy. No, I'm talking NXT Sammy, that underdog mentality type Sammy. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, not revolutionary Sami Zayn, conspiracy theory Sami Zayn. We're not going that far back, but. Although I guess that's earlier than the fucking underground underdog or whatever the hell he was called back. Yeah.
But yeah, to build it, I think they need December to build it. So that's why there's no pay-per-view, but they're like, our asses are against the wall. We don't have anything going forward. So Steph, we book everything out 1 year in advance. Cool. Who did you book to fight Roman?
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. I don't know.
Well, here's my flip side to that, Mark. We talked about this. If it's truly him and Rock, the titles aren't going to be on the line. I don't think the titles are on the line unless they're doing a brand split with them and Rock's getting them. So whoever they book at Rumble, I think would be the opportunity to get the titles off of Roman. So it has to be somebody they're willing to put in the title picture going forward. So we'll have to see where that kind of builds up to. I guess we've been spoiling what happened in the main event if you haven't watched it, but it's been building up to that. Let me throw this one out at you because I just saw this today from, I think it was Comic Book Wrestling page. There's a rumor out there, or there's been, I don't know how confirmed this is, but Drew was supposed to win the title in Clash. However, it was supposed to be Theory was cashing in for a triple threat, gets knocked out, Tyson Fury. He pins Theory and he wins the title, and they would do something where the title, because the contract alone was for one individual title, Drew would only take that title, Roman would get the other, which would have been presumably WWE to Drew, Universal to Roman. But they thought it was too complicated. And let me ask you, maybe this is too early, or this is off topic for us here, but are we back to underestimating what the wrestling fans can contain and take in? I think 100% so, because why would it be too complicated to understand that? I think it's less complicated to understand what happened with that scenario than what happened Monday night.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Bleeding in. Let's not jump too far off track because I did kind of get off track there. But let's bring it back.
Okay. Well, we all did, because shout out to the Brutes. They were in this match, but they were never in this match after they announced what was going to happen Friday.
Yep.
Bayley and Bianca, last woman standing. I don't know why. I thought it was a ladder match. I thought maybe I said ladder match last week, and going into watching Crown Jewel, I thought it was a ladder match. Here, last woman standing. This was my favorite match of the night. It really was. And it's not because of Bayley. I mean, it was bedlam and chaos, and how fucking inventive, or not inventive is not the word I was looking for. Cool. Let's just use cool. How she won.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I loved it. Bayley sold it so well. The downfall is, shit, we both had Bayley winning.
Because we both thought Bayley was going to win. We should have known better when Bayley was on top of the golf cart and he was driving it down the ramp.
By the way, that was an amazing spot.
That was. I was kind of hoping she'd like either get close to the ring or somehow they could do it safely where they could fly it. But
because Bianca was going balls to the wall, like middle of the ramp.
Yeah.
And then she she stopped early.
Yeah.
But maybe it probably would have jarred her too, running down that ramp into the ring.
Well, to be fair, I guess to that point, now that I'm remembering, the tables were set up. So I don't know if there was a way for them to. I know I saw the spot that they want to do with tables and all that afterwards, but I don't know how feasible it would have been to kind of have Bayley flip and go through the tables at that point. Maybe I'm just being over inventive, and people that are actually wrestlers can talk me off this ledge, or anybody that has physics or science. Physicality, no knowledge can talk me out of that without people dying, flying off a golf cart. But that was very inventive. It was smart, and it ties back to a common theme we've seen throughout all of their matches, dating even back to the Hell in a Cell match. The ladder is a constant theme in their matches and in their rivalry. So it was a nice little tie back that I think, for the one-on-one aspects of it, ends their rivalry. Now we're going to get, spoilers because you saw it Monday, war games between the two groups. I think now we get that as the final blow off, and then we do whatever the hell we're going to do with the rest of the teams and wherever these ladies go at that point.
Yeah. And again, we'll talk about it more here in 2 weeks, essentially. Both the heels only need one person after Monday night. The faces, Bianca's team, need two people. I don't know. We have picked Candice to be with Bianca forever. And I still think she's going to be the one that's involved in this. And I hate to say this, and I have to stop because bad on us, by the way. We're not getting Mella. We have to stop right now. Actually, we'll stop right now.
We have to stop.
About this. I didn't know this. Breaks my heart. Corey and Leah. I'm sorry. Mella was, if you guys don't know and you don't follow her, she kept it hidden for a long time. And then she posted it actually the end of October, and it took me this long because I'm like, Mella's not posting a lot. So I actually creeped on her. And then I saw this post that she had a miscarriage. And I watched, did you see that post that she posted, Jenks?
I did, yeah.
I watched that same comic on Netflix and talking about how if you have a miscarriage and, people are kind of like shunned or whatever, it's another topic, I will never experience it. Me and you will never experience that pain. My wife could have, but we're not having any more kids. I'm not jinxing you or anything, your girlfriend, whatever, when you get that point, we'll never understand what, and I'm going to call her Leah, because we'll never understand what Leah is going through right now. Yeah. My thoughts and prayers are to both of them for, having that miscarriage and trying to start a family of their own. I know Matt, Corey Graves, has kids already, but man, when I read that, I felt this big, and Jenks, you're the only one seeing it, it's minuscule, that we didn't mention it when we saw it more or saw it before or anything, but kept it close wraps. Matt and Leah, if you're listening, if you ever listen, again, I love you. I'm sorry, prayers.
Yeah. Without getting into too much detail, I know someone close to me that had gone through with miscarriage, has had miscarriages, and it's kind of, you're right, there is a unfair assumption cast among those that have them, and doing more research and listening to more things and understanding more people have them, it's surprisingly high how often this happens. So it's heartbreaking, and I do understand why they kept this very close to the chest, because this is a time where there's a life that's possible and that you created. However, you never get to meet, so it gets ripped away from you. And again, to Mark's point, I'm maybe sometime down the road I will have kids and all of that stuff. I'm not in that position now, but if I think back to if what I know now, if my niece never came along, I would be wrecked. If knowing who I know that had it happen to them, they were absolutely wrecked, and it explained a lot over those couple years. So it's one of those things that this can kind of destroy you and take you down, and you have to rebuild yourself. We talk about mental health awareness, and that's a heavy toll. This is a perfect example. Let's go off of this, because this week Pat McAfee was talking about it with his wife. I don't know if you saw this.
I did.
His wife had this happen to her twice, where she miscarried, and now they do have a baby through the first trimester, and it seems to be healthy, and it's going to be coming. It is heartbreaking, and to see people that you look up to and that not feel comfortable to be able to have those conversations and bring awareness to it, it's difficult. And people don't want to be throwing too much out there, putting out their lives when their whole worlds are wrecked. So I don't blame them for this whatsoever. And this had to have been the toughest time. And, I'm going to give Leah deserves all the credit in the world for shouldering this burden. I know Corey was there for her. But let's also give Corey a lot of credit. He fucking went to work every week and entertained us, and we had no fucking clue this was happening. And I don't know if he's just had a life where that mask has always been up and it's just great practice now, or what. But I know that had to have killed him inside, and that had to have destroyed him with his kids, knowing that he had kids and that. So this is one of those things where again, we go back to, you don't know what people are dealing with internally. You may see the external injuries, but you don't know what they're dealing with internally. And that oftentimes is a life and death situation. Whether it's life and death for, let's in Leah's case, that young child just because of the miscarriage, or it's life and death in the terms of that person's self-care and that self-love that they have for themselves, and they just feel like it's not worth it anymore. You just never know what's going on. So I give them all the props in the world. This has to be the hardest time in any of their lives, and I wish them the best. And hopefully they can try again and it proves successful. But take the time you need, rest, relax, get yourself together, because this will be a long road. It's never an easy thing. So
no. I don't know how we bounce back from that, but
yeah.
So we're naming people essentially. So
yeah,
Carmella's not going to be on it,
right?
So we're going to throw Dana Brooke on a team. No disrespect, we're going to throw Dana Brooke on a team. Does Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez end up on? I mean, there's no. It's almost like, hey, the draft happened, and now you're going to fight. The women's war game is going to be hodgepodge. You're going to have the main characters and then just randos that don't make sense. Yeah, they have 2 weeks to build this up. Is it enough time? Nikki made sense because she at least involved herself. The next member for damage control, I don't know. The 2 members for Bianca's team, hello, name them first off. We said Candace as being one.
Yeah.
That's the whole Raw women's roster is in this match.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's pretty easy to name the last two.
All right, well then go ahead there.
Well,
fans.
here's why I say that, because events that happened on Monday, I think this is Rhea and Mia Yim coming into this match, because Rhea's not doing anything for Judgment Day. They're going to need a fifth member. She's already crossed paths. They forced that with Bianca.
Okay.
Now you have Mia coming into the fold to go after Rhea. That solves a Rhea problem. That's basically like for like. You throw them into the War Games match, then you have two destructive brutes in the match, basically running rickshaw on people.
And they only worry about each other.
They only worry about each other, and they cancel each other out. They might help the other team pull off some power moves and that, but they're definitely there just to be in the match, just maybe throwing a power move here and there, and then just beat the shit out of each other throughout the rest of the match.
And in possibility, they get out of the cage somehow and they just fight into the crowd.
They might not even make it into the cage.
Well, yeah.
Let's throw that out there too. You know, Rhea could come out, start mocking Mia, and then somehow Mia breaks the shark cage, and then they're fighting in the crowd, and it's 4-on-4, and that's how that one ends. I mean,
I think that would probably be the best move. Like, they don't actually get into War Games.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I just thought of I'm trying to save this prediction for War Games, because I thought of a prediction for one of the members in the match right now. So I'm hoping I retain that. I wrote it down on a Post-it right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to save it for 2 weeks. I'm saving it in 2 weeks, but.
Bray comes out, talks about his family. Listen, we still know Bray's probably not wrestling until Rumble, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's got to do something. I'm not saying I'm getting tired of him or anything. We don't need sad sap Bray all the time. We need more content now.
Excuse me. I'm wondering if they're doing an Uncle Howdy Bray thing at Survivor Series where there's going to be physicality.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
But it's only 2 weeks, but okay.
It's only 2 weeks, but they can build it up a couple more weeks, and then like Bray's having another promo and Uncle Howdy attacks or something like that.
Uncle Howdy is James Ellsworth. Then did you see that post?
I did see that post. Exactly. Yeah. The hints have been dropped. You know, James Ellsworth coming in twice in 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
So.
Then we get to the Roman Logan match. There are some fucked up spots in this match, and I mean, for the good. Like,
yeah,
holy shit. Logan's ridiculous. Like, we loved when Pat McAfee got in the ring. No disrespect. Logan is an athlete. He really is. Some of the shit that he did, okay. But let me turn this. Where did he get ACL, MCL, and meniscus tears? That's
what I was trying to figure out. So, full disclosure, I heard about these tears before I watched this final match. Then I'm watching the match to see where this would have happened at.
Actually, Cody Hetrick is the one. I want to ruin it right now. As I'm coming home last week from the Pitt Syracuse game, Cody Hetrick sends us a Reddit, whatever the hell it's called. Did you guys see this? No, Cody, you knew I was in Pittsburgh and you were apple picking or whatever again. You were the only one that watched it.
Yeah. And I'm trying to pull up the text message now. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, because we brought it back. I was like, I think they said he tore something. Oh, yeah, he said, I can't. Yeah, didn't see the injury, but I mentioned he was injured. And it was like, I was watching this tooth and nail. It looked like he got gimpy at the end, is where I kind of picked up on it. It was because he said I think he said halfway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's doing a lot of spots for being halfway through. So I'm wondering if it happened on the table spot when he did the frog splash, because I couldn't see it. But after that spot, he was very gimpy and very kind of not moving too well. So, but if he did all of that, they don't have him for Rumble, and they don't have him for Mania. I thought he was going to be a Rumble entrant leading into this match, but now
ACL, MCL
You're a year.
Yeah. Football players are a year.
You're not Seth Rollins. You're not turning this around. Well,
3 months.
It's 3 months, whatever the hell. Well, Seth was what, 7? Something like that. Maybe Logan Paul is a 7-month guy.
Was 9, I think.
Trips was 9, yeah. So maybe Logan Paul. Well, Logan Paul's younger than them, so maybe he can pull it.
No possible way.
Maybe he can pull it off in 8.
No possible way. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, WWE.
He's not.
But if he really is, I'm being the dick right now. If he really is injured and this really happened, I feel bad. I really, deep down, I do. Because, yeah, he would have had a Rumble moment and a WrestleMania moment again. Yeah. I think it's just like, all right, we used him at Crown Jewel. Let's wait until next year to use him again.
Yeah.
Because what do you do with him?
You don't do nothing. He's not going to do anything. He can't do anything. He's injured. So, like, I'll be that guy. But to your point, they could have just written him off as saying, okay, we'll see you next year. We'll see you at Crown Jewel or some SummerSlam or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, he's bummed out.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bum Paul.
Overall, like I said, not a Raw. So 3 beers.
I'll give it 3.5.
Yeah.
I'll give it 3.5.
Yeah. In-ring stuff was cool. Some of the other stuff, okay. We're not covering Raw in verbatim.
Yeah.
What are the ones that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, we already talked about Mia Yim coming back, so that was a nice little touch. Welcome back to WWE. Now they're not using her as, what the hell was her name? Reckoning or whatever the hell she is. She's just Mia Yim. I'm excited to see. I agreed. I'm excited to see that.
So is Keith Lee's contract done? Does he go back?
I'm wondering that. I think that he was one of the ones they contacted.
I think he was too.
Because I mean, he's an amazing talent, so it would happen. I gotta give I wasn't gonna give props to this, but the Asuka Io thing, the back and forth screaming match in Japanese, and then the barking, and then her yelling "bitch" at her. Okay, first of all, hilarious. It was funny, but I learned. I was doing some research. I came across this on Twitter, and I went down a rabbit hole. There's actually like different kind of a hatred. Like it's almost like the North and South hatred, or like Alabama, Pennsylvania, or like Alabama, Mississippi type hatred between Osaka and Japan, because there's a lot of like just the way the accents are and things of that nature. They like mock each other for being from Tokyo or something like that.
Why do you say like Pennsylvania and West Virginia?
I was trying to think of. I hate Alabama, so that's kind of where my mind went. And then I'm like Alabama, Mississippi, whatever. But anyways, digress by my bad analogy. But and the fact that I said Japan instead of Tokyo. But like there's like the things between Tokyo and Osaka, there's a lot of hatred there. And what Asuka was saying during that time was just calling her stupid, because if you saw the translated version after that, you just saw her call her stupid. That's actually a common thing that they say to people from Tokyo and that, from Osaka and that. So it was actually deep rooted in a lot of like that kind of cultural hatred between where they both came from kind of thing. I don't think they have that hatred, but so I thought that was a nice, interesting touch. And I thought that made it gave it a little more flavor and a kick to it for that interesting segment. So
it did. It added some spice to it. The only thing I want to bring up, really,
we have to.
It's a heavyweight championship, WWE Universal Championship. You guys know where we're going. When the hell can you cash into Money in the Bank for a U.S. title shot?
Yeah. Are we going to claim it's now called the U.S. Heavyweight Championship, and it has always been, and that's the caveat we're using here? It's like, because that's where my mind went when this was happening. I'm like, how is this fucking possible? How are we allowed to do this unless there's like some qualifier here? Or they're just going to pull some bullshit?
I feel they're going to pull some bullshit.
Yeah.
That in the contract, it says in one of two things is happening in my mind. He's getting it back, and he has it until 2 minutes before the next person pulls it down, whatever. Yeah. Or Austin Theory's going back to NXT because not that he's bad or anything. I think this is one of the, I don't want to say final separations. There's many more to come, I think. But it's one of the separations that Austin was a Vince guy. The fucking golden egg, the this, the that. Vince put him in it. Da-da-da-da-da. I think Trips is trying to say, listen, Austin's not going to be the guy right now.
Do you think he's sending him down to NXT to test if he is the guy? Is he going to be the guy that takes it from Braun Breaker and they run it with him to test to see if he could be the next guy?
I'm going to be an ass. There's two different audiences there. NXT is going to go ape shit crazy if he does beat Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right before WrestleMania, so Braun Breaker is going to be in the Rumble as champion or whatever. In theory, maybe in the Rumble, and that's where they'll mix it up, and then that takeover is where maybe he takes it from them.
Yeah. And
lets them run for a while. There's two different audiences. I hate to say that. I know it's WWE product. I think everybody in NXT is going to be happy that he's back and, he runs with it and anything. Does it translate to Theory coming back up again? I don't know. Mandy's been down there for 2 years now? It feels like 6, essentially. But when Mandy comes back up to WWE, is she going to be the same Mandy Rose? Because there's people that don't watch NXT. Pseudo us sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a valid point. But it goes back to what it was back in 2015 up till they brought them together for Survivor Series that one year. Nobody watched. It was you watched NXT or you watched WWE, or if you watched both, you liked NXT probably, but you watched both because you were a lifer at that point. Yeah. And so I think it's kind of going back to that scenario, but I think it's also their testing ground to say, Theory can hold the crowd down there. He boosts ratings a little bit down there. Let's bring him back to the main roster, build him up in the main roster because we know he can carry the title. And let's give him an actual legitimate push instead of just throwing him. And then to be honest, it was an unwinnable situation for Austin Theory.
I agree.
With Vince McMahon. It just was unwinnable. It was the Drew McIntyre problem, essentially. You get named the prodigal son. You can't do anything but stay in that realm until you go and reinvent yourself. And I think Triple H may see that here. And, we make fun of how dumb this whole thing is. Triple H knows he has to set the reset button and knows he has to send him away for a while without doing what Drew did and going to the Indies and doing what he did there. He's going to do the next best thing and send him down to developmental, have him reinvent himself there, and then come back up and be a fresh new person at that aspect.
I hope so, because I like Theory. I really do. But it was, like you said, it was a loss. I mean, I didn't see him ever taking it from Roman. Maybe if the split would have came up, maybe a Drew or maybe a, Kofi got another run or so, KO or somebody like that. This prodigal son wasn't going to the head of the table. No. It would have had to been essentially the WWE one that's going to be on Raw.
Yeah.
So a good move, I think. I really do.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I feel bad for Theory. I feel bad for Theory.
Yeah.
Because we've had ties with him and Gargano now. Again, mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Is Gargano staying too? Because he's got some Miz stuff going on. I don't know how he fits into any title anytime soon.
I don't think he does fit into a title picture anytime soon. I think Gargano stays, but I think they save him for maybe a Rumble or maybe a Mania match with Seth for the U.S. title. Like, that's kind of where my head goes, because you're going to get a classic between those two.
Yeah.
So why not save that for a bigger stage? Don't give it away on a Raw. Let these two just duke it out a la Seth and Cesaro at WrestleMania. Let them do it out on the big stage and get that 5-star classic, get that show stealer mentality out of your premium live events. Because let's be honest, they've been lacking those for a long time now.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a show stealer. It's been your beginning and end and your filler in the middle. So let's get that show stealer in there.
2.5 hours of filler.
Yeah. So
that's all I got on WWE.
Well, we should play taps though for the fallen 24/7 title that was missed in the garbage can, fell out. We're hearing you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's really how they're going to get rid of the title. I've read that they've retired it. It's not online anymore. Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Trash can, drop, done.
Now remember, the title was thrown away in Wilkes-Barre, however anybody wants. I always said Wilkes-Barre, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Corey Graves was making fun of it as well. That's cool. So remember, in 5 years, when this they better be back in Wilkes-Barre to resurge the 24/7, 48/9, 195 I-17
Kentucky, Tennessee line.
Yeah. And that garbage can is not going to be emptied in 5 years. It's almost the time to Ridgeway Garbage Man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. But I guess to that point,
it hasn't been on TV in 6 months anyway.
Well, it hasn't been on TV, and you could talk about Dana Brooke going, "Oh, I built that title up." Now, could this lead though? And I'm not saying direct ties to the 24/7 title. Can we finally have an opening for a secondary women's championship? But again, I don't even know if that's possible because we can barely work the world tag team titles that the women have. Right. We can barely stack the teams for that. So, I mean, I would love for them to have a secondary title, but when you're struggling to just produce a tag team division to get that, establish that, how are you going to do a secondary title?
I agree. Unless they engulf all the women they can transport between two shows, but then they have too many women. I'm not being mean. Because if Sasha comes back and Charlotte comes back and Becky comes back, okay, one of them and Ronda's there. I mean, there's your heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
You turn one of those heavyweight championships into, a Universal champion or a TV champion or USA champion or whatever for the women. I don't know. I think there should be a mid card, and I think there should only be one heavyweight champion.
Completely agree. I also go back to I also think it would be beneficial if the women were on one show. And here's why I say that. I think they're too spread thin to have a title each.
Yep.
Both shows have a mid-card title, both shows have a world title, and tag team titles. I think that's where the struggle is right now. I would also argue, we could go back to the Empower conversation. I think it's hell of a time that women just get their own TV show outright.
I've said that
an hour a week. Yep. Whether it be an hour a week, it be on Peacock, it be on the network. You can still showcase them on Raw in that, but further their storylines. I think the greatest thing WWE did for the cruiserweights was do 205 Live, because 205 Live showcased and had a lot of banger after banger matches and showcased that talent that they had there. And a lot of them are main players in NXT now or trickled into the main roster in some capacity. Do it with the women. Let the women run loose. You can keep Mandy and them down in NXT, but promote them up. And that's how you keep refreshing that show up. I think the opportunity is there. You have 30 women, 20 to 30 women you can filter into the show and make it a successful show.
Yeah.
Just do it. Pull the trigger. Give me an hour, 2 hours a week of it. I get people are like, oh my God, not another wrestling show. I would watch that show because it's going to be different than the product that they're putting out for the men.
Agreed.
The men can almost be big, mighty men slapping meat for most times until you get down to the Seths and the smaller guys, but then they're fighting the big guys. The women were having more athletically capable in more physically similar matches majority of the time outside of your Charlottes and Rondas, right?
Right.
You have your big personalities, but you can have one-on-one matches that they're just standard, straight-up fights. So I think the opportunity is there.
You could have more than 2 storylines for women because, listen, right now it's Damage Control against Bianca.
Yep.
And maybe her group once in a while. So that's one storyline. That takes care of Raw. And every woman on Raw, because they've all been engulfed into that. What's the storyline for the women on SmackDown right now?
It's Sonya and Liv, and Liv's dominating it.
Yeah, that's not even including your champion.
Yeah. The champion's MIA. I think Ronda's shown up a couple times for Shayna, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So
another show gives women at least storylines to let them engulf and essentially build their character more.
Yeah.
You only get character development when they're pushed for the title.
Exactly.
So, all right, let's take a break. Dive into AEW. You were done, right? By the way.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Dive into AEW. A lot happened. A little bit happened. Maybe nothing happened. We'll find out.
What's up, guys? This is Jared Fritz, official for the NWA, and you're getting Ref Fit with the Can Crushers podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Can Crushers podcast proudly brings to you its AEW segment of the week with Mark and Sir Michael. How's that?
That sounds good. I like that.
You know, I had to give Road Dogg another shout out because apparently he's the greatest sports entertainer to take God's green earth here. So,
first off, let's talk about Rampage, and I really have 2 bitches, and then we can slide right into Dynamite.
So,
all right.
This is doubled since we talked off air. So, all right.
One's really not a bitch. One's just like, what? 2 seconds into the show, JR says, "Hey, welcome to Dynamite. I mean Rampage." 2 seconds into the show. JR, I love you. Cassidy and Shibata should have been the main event.
Yeah.
And we should not have had Mike Tyson ruining it. Man, why the fuck did you put Mike Tyson on for commentary for this match? Literally watching it live Friday night. Drunk editing, watching it live. So I'm like, I muted it. I literally muted it because he's like, I don't know who said whatever. Tony might have said that's a strong uppercut. He does a good uppercut. It was listening to a child wanting to be an announcer. Yes, that's us. But just repeating what the announcer said. He runs fast. Man, he runs fast. Why would you put him on any other match? And I'm not disregarding any other match. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care. But why does he? This is your fucking showcase match for Rampage. Go through. I liked Britt and Madison and Hayter and Sky. I liked that. It told a little bit of a story. Stark's coming out. The Gates of Agony against Warjo. Maybe that wasn't good because we knew what was going to happen. But like, why this match does Mike Tyson need to be there? Why?
Yeah. You want an answer from me? Because I got none.
No,
So you know why? You know why they put him there? Because Orange Cassidy has the orange punch. No,
I know.
But seriously, I have no idea why he was there. I get. So I guess to me, I'm so confused why they put their best match on first. It's like, we know you guys are going to go to bed by 10:30, so here's our best outing right out the gate.
They're grabbing people that just tuned over from SmackDown. Maybe the first couple months, you've never, you're a WWE fan. You've heard of this AEW thing.
Yeah,
I understand that. You're going to put your best thing on first to get those people. Okay.
We're established now.
We're over that.
And let's talk. It got established really when Punk came back, because that Rampage is on the map and it's must watch now. After that, so
is it anymore though?
Well, now it's not, because it's kind of, well, I will say it was int until what you guys have probably seen last night, which we haven't seen yet, because there's 3 world title eliminators on that, and every match is going to be
It should be a barn
something special. It should be a barn burner. So that's a must-watch show. But I think they've also killed the mystique with it, to your point, by putting 25 things into it, hoping they can squeeze it all in an hour and ruin and kind of take away from people. But you're right. Mike Tyson took a lot away from this match, and all I wanted to see was Shibata Cassidy, and I probably pronounced his name wrong, but
No, that was right. Well, why wasn't that saved for Full Gear?
you know, I don't know about that. I don't know why. What are they? I'm assuming they have something planned. Well, you know what? I'm going to back off that. I think it goes back to my idea of he's facing somebody that's taking the title off of him. Although I don't think it's Ethan Page now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But he's facing somebody, and I think he's losing the title at.
They have clearly. I don't think it happened yesterday because it was so packed with eliminator stuff. So they have Wednesday to build a match for him.
Yeah, and I think, I don't think it happened yesterday. I'm trying to think who he interacted with. Was it Jay Lethal and Sanjay?
I don't remember. Maybe I have it in notes. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So Dynamite starts. Guns, Swerve, FTR, and Acclaim. Dissension with Swerve in your glory, our glory, their glory, who's ever glory.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little tussle between FTR and Acclaim when they bumped.
Yeah, they're
each
getting,
other.
It's a very rocky, tension-filled relationship between them.
I think we see you're completely right. Unless it was announced and I missed it, we're getting a 4-way.
They didn't announce anything, so, but I think that's the only thing that makes sense here. There's a lot of elements here that need to be in the same pay-per-view. Well, no, actually, no. You know what? Unless something develops next week, it is still Swerve in Your Glory and the Acclaim for Full Gear, because they did announce that is the tag team match for Full Gear. So unless something further develops next week, it's going to be just those two teams. We'll see. One can hope.
If it's just them, I'm going to ruin my prediction already. If it's just them, Swerve in Your Glory against the Acclaimed, there's a turn.
Yep.
There's a turn, and then FTR is next on the docket.
Yep. Completely agree.
And that's going to be a winner's coming, closing, snowing, whatever, which is essentially a week later. They announced it.
That's true. They did.
So group both of these together. We had MJF on a podcast talking about Moxley, and then we had Moxley in the ring talking about MJF. I like how they've kept MJF not in the arena. As somebody watching on TV, maybe he has been, maybe he showed up, whatever. Clearly, I like how they're keeping him away.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much right now. Like, the fans they're trying to make him still be the devil.
Yep.
Well, trust me, everybody's going to be Satanistic bastards come Full Gear, I think. Everybody wants the devil to win.
Yep.
They don't want to give that pop away every week that he comes on TV.
Exactly. They're holding steady, biding the time. You know, I was thinking they'd bring him back next week on Dynamite, but I don't think they do. I think they reserve it for Full Gear and let him come out. And you're right. I think everybody is rooting against Moxley because they want the devil to get the title because it's his time.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Moxley. It's his time, and people want to see MJF in the spotlight, in the title, as the champion, making that run for it. So I'm completely agree.
I do like how MJF. I loved his highlights that were stolen from him. The tattoo, Matt Hardy falling like a drunken bastard.
Yep.
The media scrum. Damn, he's right.
Yeah.
He named 2 others, I think, too, but I didn't write them because he was talking really quick. But I'm like, holy shit. He's completely right. When he came back, that scrum happened. When
It's not wrong.
The neck tattoo killed me.
It killed me too. Stop.
So yeah, Mox's then, on the other hand, hit. Like, everything you've done has been easy in your life, kid. And that was the one thing. He's like, you're not the devil. I've pissed on the devil, or whatever he said. Like, I want more of this. Like, I don't want it to happen again at Winter's Coming, but I think these two are, you have, let's not call MJF a technical wrestler because he cheats and this, that, but he's technically more than Mox is.
Yeah.
You have a technical style against a fighter, and sometimes it doesn't match. But they speak so well, I don't give two shits what they do in the ring because I love the story. They can just hand the title back and forth to each other. Here, you won because you had a better promo this week, or I won. Like, this is what's encapsulating is that they're great speakers, and the whole story is there.
I completely agree with your whole point. But I'm going to go back and say, I know we just talked about those styles don't match. I'm going to argue this style will, because you don't surround Moxley with, let's say, 4 of the greatest technical wrestlers either in history or in the business today. Because let's throw Yuta in there. Let's throw Claudio in there. Regal, definitely. Danielson, the best technical wrestler in the world right now, bar none. You don't have him in that group and not have them basically honing his skills and understanding, teaching how you do this match, because we can talk about rehearsing matches and whatnot. That's not happening here. They're teaching him, here's how you sell this, or here's how you take this. And we've seen that. I've seen that improvement over the past year of how well he is selling technical wrestling styles and skills and that over the past year. This is perfect build up for this match because now the wrestling will match the talking. I'm not saying it's going to be on the same level, but there's going to be brawls.
I don't think it's going to be Flair Steamboat.
It's not going to be Flair Steamboat, but there's going to be brawls because MJF has brawled before. There'll be brawls. There'll be technical aspects to this. There might be some. There's not going to be any flippy floppies, but there's no lucha. There's no lucha, but there could be some Texas catch can. There could be some different styles in this match and elements in this match to really make it flow and tell a story. But to your point, Mox hit it on the head. MJF hit it on the head. But again, this storyline with MJF continues, I think, to build my theory in my mind. They are building sympathy for the devil that they're trying to create. And when he gets that pop and the inevitable, in my opinion, heel turn again on everybody, it's going to be beautifully done at Full Gear.
Listen. I do it twice. That's our prediction. We both have MJF running away, not running away with it, but running away with it.
If you guys thought we were going to go Mox in that match, you're absolutely nuts.
You're crazy.
You're crazier than Mox.
Yeah. Those predictions for everything else will come next week.
Yeah.
All right. Back to regular schedule program. All Ego and Eddie Kingston. This could be another match I wanted. They said they wrestled all around the world. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. This is their spotlight match against each other. I love this match. I wanted to see it again. No disrespect. I like Ethan Page. I just don't know what they're doing with Eddie. He's crazy a little bit right now. I don't know how they're trying to get him. He's not around a lot. I think he's somebody that should be around a lot because he's so loved, but he hates the crowd.
Yeah.
Like we need somebody like that because I understand that's the whole thing about MJF. Right. I understand, but it's a different aspect. They're two completely different characters. I think we need more Eddie. So I was actually shocked And I think as you were you, because I think last week you said Ethan's not making it through the first round.
I didn't think he was, but
Well, he does.
yeah. Well, I thought it was building perfectly to an Eddie MJF winner is coming match. Because to your point, they've been doing this for a year with Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't want to be there, but they've been building him up into this spotlight, and it's like this was the perfect time to flip that switch and make a run with it. Now I'm looking at the bracket, and I'm like, I don't know who, if any of these guys are making a run towards it. I think Ethan Page is going to be in the finals. Spoiler.
I said I thought Morrissey was going to be in this.
Yeah.
In the first title defense that MJF would have is going to be against somebody from the firm. Yeah. So flip-flop Morrissey and Ethan Page.
Yeah.
Because then the whole firm thing has to really end.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, I think this is Ethan Page's shot at this point, to be honest, because it's not Lance Archer. It's not Dante Martin.
Eliminator tournament. Archer's back.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to fill a spot. I think next week we're getting Brian Cage and Lance Archer in the match, to be honest. So that'll be just two big men fighting each other. But
finals, I don't know. My final prediction is just random because I think they're making a big to-do that they signed him, but he's going to be more towards ROH. Ethan Page and Bandito. If that's the way the bracket, I don't even know how the brackets line up, but
if it's by the bracket, I think I saw it today. I think they're on the same side of the bracket.
All right, well then never mind.
Yeah,
maybe the semis.
It's definitely going to be the semis because he's facing Roosh, and God forbid they give Roosh a win.
Yeah, Roosh is worried about Preston.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I wish Eddie was doing more, but maybe he's just kind of walking away from it all right now and just taking a step back from what he's doing in the ring. Because he is, 40, 41, 42, somewhere in that range?
Yeah.
So, and he's beating the shit out of his body for the past 15, 20 years. So
week picking up garbage. Oh.
Heavy-ass pumpkins.
Yeah. Listen, garbage tip of the week. If you're,
don't put your fucking pumpkins
if your town has a compost, pumpkins can go in there along with your corn stalks and hay bales that you guys have to buy. For the month of just October. Davari offers $1 trillion in a butler to Wardlow. Wow, we knew how this was going to end. But the ending of the segment, I didn't think they'd pull the trigger that fast.
Yeah, I didn't
I thought there was still more to go with the embassy and all of that. Clearly not.
I guess not. Right? Are
both titles going to be on the line in Full Gear?
I was just asking that. Are they going to unify these titles? Or are they just going to do a title for title, like just title on title, and it's a triple threat match? Because Hobbs is involved in this.
He's got to be, right?
Yeah.
More to come Wednesday to get Hobbs into that, because.
Well, I don't think how can you exclude Hobbs? This has been built up to be Hobbs and Wardlow for the past 2 weeks now.
How can you exclude Joe? He took a belt to Wardlow took a belt to the back of the head.
Yeah.
He would be more pissed at Joe than Hobbs. Hobbs has cost him. It really never cost him matches, but beat him up and this, that, and the other. But do you just say, hold on, Hobbs, you'll get your title defense. I got to worry about the guy that clocked me with the belt first?
Yeah. Or
I just gave Jenks a dumb look because I don't know.
I don't know either. What if Hobbs and Joe are working together? What is that a possibility?
Wow, Joe just is bouncing around like a hooker on 5th Street then.
But maybe that's the thing, because Joe can't. Let's be honest, Joe's up there in age. Maybe he can't do a lot of one-on-one matches. So they have to kind of find a way around that right now. Is he injured that he can't do those one-on-one matches that we have to find a way around for Joe? I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities going on here. Triple Threat takes care of that situation because you can rotate Joe out move people around in that match. It'd be more of a traditional WWE triple threat, but you could move people in that fashion.
Stir in the pot. Don't you want Jericho, big name, and Joe, another big name, to kick off your show at the beginning of January?
I would think so.
Does this essentially is Wardlow
Losing
being
the title?
fed to the wolves?
Maybe.
And then I would say that I said last week, that's a shitty title run for him.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And it could also go back to, this is still Hobbs and Wardlow, but Joe's involved because Joe and Hobbs have made a deal.
Yeah.
And he cost Wardlow the title. And then there's that build up for Winter's Coming. But
I don't think AEW does two belt. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they do two belts somebody, whatever. I don't know if they go down that path.
well,
One of them's losing. And
I would agree. I think, well, let's look at it this way. They don't do two belts with their titles. FTR is running around with 3 titles right now, but they will not put that AEW title in that group of titles.
right.
So they're very reluctant to have a title be lost in the shuffle. And I think this goes back to the Kenny Omega Impact title type thing, with all the backlash and the heat that was taken from that because Nakazawa was walking around with it instead of Kenny Omega. I think they are like, well, we can't have our title get lost in the shuffle of these belts, so we have to keep it as far away as possible. And I think the same thing's happening here. They want to build both belts because eventually they're going to have an ROH title, but they don't want to put them together because one could cancel out the other depending on how you wear it and how you represent it at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe that fear exists.
That's a great theory. Britt and Saraya meet with Tony. Man, this was fucking hot knife butter. This was probably segment of the week for me. I loved everything about it. I got emotional when Saraya said she was finally cleared. I mean, we essentially knew it, but said she was cleared, went into how she had to eat people and beat people up since she was the age of 1.5 and the whole story that she told. And then Britt just comes back and says, bitch, you were sitting on the sidelines for 7 years. I built this place. This is not your house. People were yelling DMD that they were behind her. And then Saraya just pops off again. I'm getting chills again just rethinking it. Pause. Saraya's 100% clear. Doctors said she's allowed wrestling 1 match a month. This could be a great storyline for 3 months.
Yeah.
This could be a great feud. And again, it keeps Britt, that we said, Britt is now established. We love Britt. She doesn't need to be around that title at all.
Mm-mm.
We just make these are pay-per-view matches. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, listen, I think Saraya's getting the win. It's not going to hurt Britt. But when Britt does get one, have it be one. She doesn't need elevated, but she just beat a fucking Hall of Famer legend.
Yeah.
That elevates her again. Does she win the feud? I don't think.
No.
But she gets that one, and then holy shit. Saraya's right. This is Britt's biggest match of her life.
Yeah. No, completely agree. And that one, I think, comes at Winter's Coming. It's on TV. It would be the 1 match per month that Saraya could fight. It lines up perfectly. And I say it's that way. I don't know where it's at, but I liken it to, let's look at how MJF's stock rose after the Punk win in Chicago. I'm not saying this is Punk in Chicago, but this is Saraya pinned shoulders to the mat because DMD did it. It will elevate Britt, to your point, to a next level status. Britt doesn't need, like you were saying, Britt doesn't need the titles, and they don't take walk-ins. So Saraya's got to make an appointment.
Right.
So That was a great line. But I loved I got goosebumps. I could reiterate everything you said. But the bottom line is we have now made a legitimate second storyline for women on AEW that has teeth and that is exciting to look forward to. And that's not to, it's overshadowing, but it's not to say the least. Even Nyla and Jay have a storyline going on.
Well, there's three good ones
storyline going on right now. Jade and Nyla, you have Britt and Saraya, and you have the AEW Jamie and Tony. They made a personal rivalry with their friendship. That's excellent execution, and they're finally moving forward with the women's division and starting to get more levity and more story-driven things going on with that. But I'll tell you what, right here, right now, this is the match I'm looking forward to, probably second most on that card. I can't get above MJF Mox.
I can't either.
This one is right up there. It's just a little, maybe 2 legs behind, and that's it.
And that's why I need to be home, definitely by 8 o'clock next Saturday after the Pitt Duke game.
The game, yes.
Trent and Lethal I could have given 2 shits about. And then we've talked about Double J already coming out. Yeah. We talked about Mox. Hater and Sky Blue, essentially, we touched on it. They made it personal. Tony comes out at the end. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll ask you. You don't have to answer because we'll save it for next week. Does Hater get it? Second question, do we get a return at Full Gear? And I don't know how, I'll do some more diving, how Rosa is.
Yeah.
So
I would say the only thing I'll preference without answering it right now is the answer to question 2 dictates what happens in question 1.
Yep.
So that's all I'll say on that.
Agreed. And question 2 is possibly unanswerable.
Yeah.
We made fun of Lance Archer. We'll make fun of again. Really, Ricky Starks?
They're going to sacrifice Starks.
Is this Lance Archer? I hope I shake your hand at WrestleCade. I hope I come and see you and say hi and everything. But, dude, you're doing whatever you do and you come back for these eliminators and everything. But Starks was supposed to be getting this push. They sacrifice him to Archer to move a big man to the next round. I'm going to be pissed.
Let me ask you this. Did we push Starks? Did the fans push Starks and Starks was just never going anywhere? Like, is that what happened here? Because it feels like everything momentum-wise was going with Starks. But now it looks like the company was not pushing Starks, but we were trying to.
The fans were.
The fans were all in on Starks, but the company was not. That's what it just seems like right now. And I'm total confusion because it seemed like they were going for it. And I don't know what happened.
Dogs are barking. Somebody must have closed the door in Erie. No clue. Max is nuts. It's 8.
Maybe it's maybe it's going to be a Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, just a revisit of maybe it's a revisit of the Team Taz rivalry again. I don't know.
During the match that we're going to talk about, we get the announcement of Darby and Sting versus Double J and Lethal. And I don't know if you were on Twitter during that. I wasn't. But then I went on the next day. People are pissed. They're like, Sting, retire. Why the hell are we getting this match? What is this going to do? Yada, yada, yada. I have a prediction for all of this next week. And it leads to something that ties way back to TNA. 3 of the 4 were in TNA at one point. 1 wasn't. And maybe we're getting the blow-off feud that we've been begging for down the line. If you understand, you understand. Danielson and Sammy, 2 out of 3 falls. Brian wins the first match quickly because DQ, whatever. I love in 2 out of 3 falls when they throw one away quick.
Yeah.
I don't like when the first one takes 20 minutes and then the second one happens 30 seconds later. The 2 out of 3 falls, for the fucking love of God, they always go 3. I don't recall one going 2 in forever.
I argue that there was one in AEW that went 2, but I can't remember which one it was. Don't quote me on that, but I do remember there was one that went 2-0, and it was done. I think Bryan Danielson was involved in it, to be honest.
Okay.
But I digress. I can't remember who it was against.
Send it to us. Let me know. I'm not saying you. I'm not throwing you under the bus. But I like when they throw one off the bat. Boom. Good. Within 3 minutes of the match, somebody's got the lead. So somebody's got to chase. Because as wrestling is, the story is in the chase. Have it be for a title, have it be for a match to regain da-da-da-da-da. This made Sammy ruthless. I love this match. I loved everything about this. I didn't care who won. I think the writing was on the wall who was going to win.
Right.
But I love Sammy in the second match of this match. It was awesome. This is the Sammy that I love from Wrestle Circus and the Inner Circle and everything, that he's lost a little bit since he's been hooked up with Ty and da-da-da-da-da. This was awesome. Sammy, though, to me right now, may be one of the best sellers in the business. Because when he gets hit, it's not oversell Shawn Michaels, but it's not, I got hit by the wizard knee and then, I'm going to stand right back up.
Yeah.
He sells perfectly to me. I have a man crush on him. I will tell him to his face. I loved everything about this. Where are we going, though? I think we get a twist in this 4-way match. And again, that's going to wait till next week. But I think there's a twist in this 4-way match coming up.
I agree with that. I think the match, I cannot argue with anything you said about the match. I will say Sammy finally looked like a fucking star. It didn't look like it. This wasn't like Sammy trying to put himself over with like dangerous spots and then he looks like a bug on a windshield type things. This was Sammy actually doing a good wrestling match, and maybe it's because of your dance partner, and the dance partner will hold you to task if you don't do it. Finally, it brought and elevated Sammy. These 2 matches with Bryan has really started to bring out the better wrestler in Sammy and hopefully help him understand how to tell a story in the ring.
Yeah.
I loved it. I wanted
but you have a but.
My but is, I think it comes down to, where does Sammy go from this? Because he's just going to go back to lackey status in the JAS once Jericho's done being a bride of Dragon Ball Z over Masked Singer. But it also, I think you're right, there's a twist here with the world title match. I don't know if we're thinking the same one. I don't think Danielson's in a group after Full Gear.
I don't either.
And it showed in his promo. He's tired of the disrespect. I don't think he's in a group now.
I don't either.
He literally came. We've been saying we go ahead.
I think the BCC, Mox is involved because Regal's always out there.
Yeah.
Yuta and Cesaro, Claudio, that's the first time I've done that in forever, and Claudio are joined at the hip. Like, if there's going to be ROH Tag Team Champions, I believe it may be them. Yeah. Because they're one within each other anymore. Anywhere one goes, the other one's there.
Yep.
Fine and dandy. That's probably great for Yuta, having somebody like that. Mox is champ. He doesn't want to be around anybody. Mox is taking 6 weeks off for 12 weeks off. He deserves everything that he gets off after Full Gear, because of what he just did for the last 6 weeks. So kudos to him. Danielson's on an island by himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's nothing. Danielson's on an island. He's disrespected left and right. we're getting heel Daniel Bryan here, and he's going to run rickshaw all over this company. And I'm actually kind of excited for this because I want to see this. I loved brutal heel Daniel Bryan, and I don't know if he just changes this way for wintertime and then comes back around for springtime and all that shit.
When the trees start growing.
When the trees start to fall, because this is the same time he did it last year. He turned heel for Page and then turned around for at Revolution. But it's like I want to see ruthless Daniel Bryan back because I don't think we got enough of him last year.
I agree.
We need more of Daniel Bryan in that manner. And if I just say it, God damn it, Bryan Danielson in that manner. Son of a bitch. I was making fun of you for the Cesaro thing in my head too.
For you.
All right. But anyways, I just want to see it. But there's so many, like, is it going to be an attack? Is it going to be El Natural? Is just he's going to quit the group? I don't know what's going to happen. I did have one little thing about the match, though, I want to go back to. Because there was one point where you were talking about selling, Sammy was selling. He was doing a great job selling. And then there was the one point where Danielson hit the knee, and then all of a sudden Sammy was right back up hitting a DDT off the top rope. That fucking drew a little bit of ire out of me. But other than that, I'll back it off. I just don't know where Sammy goes with this. I hate that he goes back to being a lackey for Jericho. That's where my butt comes into play.
Sammy needs to go by himself. He needs to be, maybe him and Dan, I mean, I don't think this is where it goes, but like him and Danielson need the same. Sammy as a face is horrible because he's got, my man crush has a face that you just want to punch all the time. I love Ty. I think he just needs away from Ty. I think he needs to go solo and just be his own man. Bring back the panda head and be that Sammy for a little bit or something. As long as he's attached, as you said, as long as he's attached to Jericho, is he ever going to be a star? He's bigger than the other jackasses will ever be. But what's he do? He's always just the guy that's going to fall off the cage for Jericho, the guy that's going to get thrown out of the stadium in a stadium match or something like that. Give me something from Sammy.
Yeah. It's tough to root for Sammy when his personality is built off of other people.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. I mean, if it's not Jericho, it's built off of Ty. That's just how it is right now. His personality in the company is based off of who he's with and the company he keeps. So that's case in point, the deal with Sammy. You're right. He needs to run solo, but I don't know how you run him solo with Ty unless you pull back what they're doing. But that would require a face turn for Sammy. And I don't know if AEW's in that point yet where they're willing to pull back that over-the-top sexualization that these two have with each other. I'm talking Sammy and Ty, not Sammy and Jericho.
Right. I was going to say which group.
Yeah, which group. But I saw it brewing. That's why I wanted to get in front of that before you asked it. But just pull it back and just have him be like normal guy and valet. Good Lord, my mind's going to
It's getting late.
Yeah, it is. Normal guy and valet. Or just have it be a normal couple walking out to the ring and just saying, okay, high five, peck on the lips, go to work. That, I think, helps him and can help him establish his own man without removing the element of his bride from that whole consideration. But Sammy's better as a heel because I haven't seen his babyface work. I'm new to Sammy in regards, I know what he does in AEW. And the last time he was a babyface in AEW, he was trying to be a bug on a windshield. And I know I used that already, but that was essentially it. He was trying to kill himself.
What it was, though. Yeah.
He was trying to kill himself. And that, I think he needs to understand, to get over, you don't need to kill yourself. Establish a personality and do things in the ring, and you will be noticed. But that's that Daredevil mentality. That's why Jeff always did what he did. That's why Darby does all what he does. It's that Daredevil mentality. The only way we're getting over is if we're doing reckless shit to our bodies.
Yeah. And I don't think Sammy needs to. I think Sammy could be Again, not a Steamboat or a Flair or an Owen or a Brett. That none of them are technical wrestlers. None of them. They're horrible. But
Yeah, but none of them out. You mean he's not going to be a road dog?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
No road
He's not
dog.
going to be a road dog. He's not going to be a road dog. All right. Listen. So next week we're going to do Full Gear predictions. You guys will listen to it essentially minutes probably before you watch Full Gear, but that's the way we're rolling. I believe, Jenks, we're going to be very AEW heavy next week.
Yeah.
So we'll hot topics, maybe a little bit of NWA. I can't imagine WWE throwing a lot at us next week.
No, unless they're establishing a couple things.
We're going to establish a couple more people going into Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Maybe who the Bloodline gets. The undercard, prove me wrong, is going to be underwhelming at Survivor Series.
Well, you're taking 20 of your best people out of the undercard.
Yeah.
So,
Seth against somebody is going to be, I would imagine, if it's not Theory again for something, or it's Ali, we're going to get a match like that where it's a showcase match, essentially. Yeah. Tag team titles aren't going to be on the line. Women's titles aren't going to be on the line. Does Ronda show up and defend the title so we have at least a title defense? Survivor Series, again, is not wrapping up. Maybe storylines for the War Games. We'll be invested in that because each one of those War Game matches is going to be minimum half an hour, 45 minutes, hour. I mean,
yeah,
maybe not an hour, but
they're at least 45. I mean,
yeah.
Well, no, it could be an hour because it's 45 with 4-on-4. You add another man into that, it's going to be an hour.
So there's 2 hours essentially. Even if whatever the match goes 45, by the time the build up and everything, that's 2 hours of your pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You're going to have maybe 3 other matches on this card.
Yeah. And I'll even say 2 of those are going to be very short matches. Because if they do one spotlight match, if they do one Seth match, it's going 20.
Yeah.
And then they'll have 2 side matches like an Omos Braun revisit match or something like that where it's going to kind of, I know you rolled your eyes, but
I threw up a little bit.
But it's going to be a 6-minute match where bing, bang, boom, we're out the door. And that's it. So.
Yeah. I will say this. I think they keep Ronda off this because how do you, if it's Baszler that gets a turn on her that happened last night or whatever, because Bianca's not defending her title.
Mm-mm.
Gunther defend the title? But I don't know. I don't know if we get a title defense. I would actually keep titles off of this being defended because I don't. Besides War Games, there's nothing coming out of this.
You know what? I would love to see Gunther versus Seth. I mean, let's do a little brand warfare in there. We talked about Gunther and Bob 2 months ago. Let's see Gunther versus Seth. Seth doesn't need to win the match. You can reestablish Gunther as the dominant champion in this. It elevates the Intercontinental title. Let's have those type of matches. You're not going to do the Bloodline, obviously. They can't fight themselves. But let's have that be your showcase match and then have like an Ali. Well, Lashley destroyed the shit out of Ali on Raw. So maybe they just revisit that for 6 minutes and have that be one and then do something else. But I think that's what you can do to bridge the gap because you have to do 2 or 3 matches to palate cleanse. And they have to be something that's going to make people forget what happened in the first War Games to the second War Games.
And speaking of which, the women will go first and the men will be the main event.
Exactly. Well, especially if it's the Bloodline, it would give or take.
Bloodline's getting the main event.
Yeah.
But
Bloodline's
you're not going to put them back to back.
No, you're not. There's no way. Yeah.
So we'll be AEW heavy with a lot of predictions, which I'm excited because I'm sure more matches are going to get thrown on there. By the way, there'll be probably 15 matches, including the buy-in and everything.
There always is.
midnight on Saturday night, we'll be watching Mox and MJF start.
Get that coffee brewing, guys, and hopefully, and pray to God there's not a fight after the press conference.
I know. I gotta find out how I can watch the press conference after. There's got to be a website that's gonna show them.
Do they live stream it on YouTube? Because I know it shows back up on YouTube within a day.
Maybe.
So it's either there's
Good.
a
So I
live
can stay up
stream
till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, why not? You're not doing anything.
You watch that and play God of War. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Another long edition, but we don't care. We love talking wrestling. Jenks, have a great week. I hope you get some God of War time in. Pray for no snow next Saturday.
I'm praying.
So pray for a pit win both times. We'll talk by next Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll remind everybody that I'm going to the Big Duke game again.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Season ticket holder, right?
Oh yeah, got that down payment on it. Hey, take care of that shoulder, and
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
Don't injure yourself getting the Christmas decorations down.
Rock, oh, fuck you in the Christmas decoration. Remember, just because Jenks is trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
Mark's a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.